Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
All right, we're going to find out a lot more about Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears in just a couple days when they face the Dallas Cowboys. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. These desperate 0-2 teams, Pearl. These are the ones I'm really keeping an eye on in Week 3 of the NFL season. And we get the Bears coming off of a collapse in Week 1 where they allowed J.J. McCarthy and the Vikings to come back on them. Then Week 2 against Ben Johnson, the new head coach of the Bears, against his former team, the Lions, it was an absolute shellacking. Just one of the biggest blowouts we've seen so far this year. So now Ben Johnson calling out his own team's practice habits publicly in the media. He did it on Monday, again yesterday, which is what caught our ear. And you know, he's really putting it on this game and the players to show something different here, Pearl. Yeah. And I'm curious to get your take on a few things. A, do you think this is a smart idea for Ben Johnson to keep doing this through the media, which goes back to training camp where he was very honest about how disappointed he was and how some of the practices looked? And then B, what happens if the team doesn't respond? Dallas's offense is pretty good. Their defense, not so much. But the offense is good. What if they end up in a shootout or whatever, and this feels like Ben Johnson's message falls flat?
Well, you know, the thing about him calling him out in public, is there any evidence? What's the difference? Is it a bad thing or a good thing? Clearly, if you watch the Bears play, guys need to be called out. That is totally obvious. And let's face it, he inherited a roster of mediocre players. There's just no doubt. This is all, if you want to look at the problem here, it's the GM. Who is he? Ryan Poles has made draft mistake after draft mistake after draft mistake. Hasn't drafted a Pro Bowler yet.
Yep.
This year alone, I don't think people are talking about. He drafted Colson Loveland when he had a perfectly good tight end in Cole Kmet, and he's not even throwing the ball to Colson Loveland.
Or how about Ty
number
Warren?
10 overall.
I mean, and Warren from Penn State, who ends up going to the Colts, who looks amazing.
But who cares about? He wouldn't have thrown to him either because he's got Cole Kmet. He doesn't need a tight end.
No, you need two tight ends now, Pearl. That's what everyone's doing. The 12 personnel.
He needs a left tackle or a right tackle. And the thing is that unfortunately Ryan Poles has not made good decisions on the offensive line. Because line is terrible. I look back at this. I even want to go further than this year. Like, I think Ben Johnson inherited a dud. He got a lemon of a roster.
Wow.
Now, is that on him because he had other choices this offseason? But I looked at the other choices. They're not great either. Like, I understand why he took Chicago. You see, the other choice, big choice was the Raiders. That roster is a disaster, too. So you have two bad rosters. Do you want Caleb Williams or do you want nothing at quarterback? So he said, I'm going to take Caleb Williams. Now, you've rightly pointed out, Caleb Williams might be a terrible fit for a Ben Johnson offense. But I think that he got there. He's like, these people are not as intense as the players I had in Detroit, and he's furious about it, and he's going to call them out. I mean, obviously he's talking to the young players who he's not even really using. I think he's right to have his hair on fire and go in that building and just scream at everybody. This is NFL football. You got to be super intense to win games.
Well, before we hear from Ben Johnson, I'll ask you the question. Is this quarterback the right guy to be delivering that message to this locker room? Right? Like Caleb Williams, and I'm not saying it has to be all the front-facing rah-rah stuff. We're going to talk in this show throughout the day a lot about Joe Montana, the 1984 San Francisco 49ers, because of our King of the Mountain project. And Joe Montana wasn't the guy who was out there being super fiery and getting guys' faces. Or you can lead in a lot of different ways. But as far as holding people accountable, which is what Ben Johnson's trying to do, and we'll play the sound, I don't know if Caleb Williams is the guy who feels like he can stand up in front of the locker room or pull guys aside because, quite frankly, he's in year 2, so what has he done?
He's 23.
Yeah, he's a young guy. Okay, so here's Ben Johnson from yesterday. This was right after the opening remarks where he basically just kind of blows some smoke at the Cowboys, talks about how good they are, what a challenge it's going to be to play them. And this was the first thing he said when talking about his own team.
Yeah, there were things all over the tape on all three phases that we're looking to clean up. And I thought as a whole that team, they played a little bit harder than us. And that's a reflection of me as a coach. That's a reflection of our coaching staff, and it's a reflection of our players too. When you play a good team like that on the road, that you gotta be all out and every single snap, and that just was not the case.
Yeah, 52-21 was the final score. So I think we kind of got that. But, Pearl, that's a nice way of kind of implying that guys were quitting on plays.
You think?
Yeah.
They just let up 52 points. I think that's not a stretch to say that.
Here's more from Ben Johnson responding to a question about practice habits. And he said they have to practice better.
Are there guys that need to practice better, too?
I think our practice habits are yet to reflect the championship caliber team.
Okay. So, this was yesterday. By the way, this all started Monday. This really started in training camp. Ben Johnson is very honest about his team. Let's hear a little from Monday just to get the full scope of kind of what the team is setting up for themselves as they host the Cowboys this Sunday. Here's Ben Johnson from Monday saying there's going to be more competition in practice because the effort level was so bad against the Lions.
We're going to have a lot more competition. I've alluded to it before. Just what these guys look like when the ball's not in their hands, that's a big deal for us. And so there were some plays there yesterday that we weren't quite as pleased with what that looked like on tape.
You know what's funny? Of all the Bears' problems, Pearl, and Jay-Z said I got 99 problems, but it's not one. I feel like the Bears had 99 problems, but effort I did not think was one. I did not think...
They just let up 52 points.
No, I'm talking about when Ben Johnson inherited the team. You're talking about the flawed roster, and you're right. They obviously, they've invested draft picks on the offensive line. We need to see more from that. Caleb needs to throw the ball away. They couldn't convert on a 3rd and 1 and a 4th and 1. There's just... And the defense, obviously, dealing with injuries, and they got carved up on Sunday in week 2. But I never thought that effort really was a thing. Going into the season where people saying, wow, that Bears team, they're just like a bunch of loafers who, show absolutely no fight. But now that's something that is now Ben Johnson has introduced that this team just does not care enough. I don't know how else you say it.
Okay, what do we know about the Bears? We know this gigantic expose in Ty Dunn's 27,000-word piece about.
But we got Seth Wickersham's book before that. Remember about how Caleb Williams wasn't even sure he wanted to go to Chicago.
But in this Ty Dunn story, it painted a picture of an entitled Caleb Williams and a coaching staff that was afraid to confront him. I don't know. I sort of extrapolated. Well, if this coaching staff is afraid to sort of have conflict with Caleb Williams, then they're probably afraid to have conflict all over. They're probably not calling out guys.
Sure.
And they probably, if they're drafting Caleb Williams without really any plan, they probably drafted a bunch of other guys without any plan. The one character that they drafted this offseason was Luther Burden. A lot of teams reportedly in draft process we don't want to touch this guy, and they drafted him. But I don't. Yeah, they're a bad team, so I guess you could always assume a bad team has effort issues, right? Why would you? Matt Eberflus was their coach last year. You think they were going all out for that dude? I did not see that.
Well, yeah, no. But I guess I don't know. I've seen teams that are just don't have as much talent, but do they quit on plays and things like that? And then I ask you this question because it all goes back to Caleb. And I'm not trying to be reductive and make it so easy, but when you have an offensive coach who comes in, who's been, so creative and innovative, you have somebody who has a talent like Caleb Williams, which is very different from a lot of Bears quarterbacks in the past, maybe outside of Jay Cutler or something like that, but very different kind of style. Maybe a little like Justin Fields, I guess, with the running ability and scrambling, but not exactly the same. Different. Now, Justin Fields wasn't so much of an improviser, the artist versus the surgeon type of stuff, but you have this guy, and really Ben Johnson's biggest task is making sure that Caleb Williams pans out. And so you're calling him out in public. Yeah. It's always been two things about the Caleb Williams story in Chicago. It's about how he plays, but it's also about, is this going to work with him? And I just don't know if Caleb Williams is going to be the guy to deliver this message, because what happens with the good teams? The coach delivers the message, and the quarterback has to live that message. What made Tom Brady and Bill Belichick so successful? Well, the winning, on the field, but also Belichick could rip into Tom Brady and he would take it like he was the third string, backup safety.
Yeah.
And
that's what a pro should do.
And that's what a pro should do. And and holding guys accountable.
Yeah.
And it's a lot to ask for a young guy, but I think some guys do it. I think you walk into the league and guys like Jayden Daniels do hold guys accountable, even if they're on the younger side in the locker room. I'm curious if Caleb is the guy to deliver this message. Hey, we got to practice better, harder, calling dudes out, making sure everyone's on the same page.
But if you watch that game last Sunday, like, where is Caleb Williams on your list of problems for the Chicago Bears? I mean, it can't be top 5 to me. I mean, there's a lot of numbers. Their run game is not just bad, it's the worst in the NFL.
Yeah.
This is the number 1 running coach in the NFL last year, and they can't even get a yard. So that goes on the O-line. That goes on DeAndre Swift, who there's a reason he's been on 5 teams, the running back. The number 2, or actually number 1, is the defense. They let up 52 points.
Yeah, I know.
So what are we talking about? And Caleb Williams was 14 for 19 for 136 yards and 2 touchdowns in the first half. There's no way that was a quarterback loss. That was a total team loss. And to me, that game came down to the end of the first half. It was a real game. It was 21-14 in the Bears. And then the Lions just scored that late touchdown. And you know how an end-to-half touchdown can kill you. You played against Tom Brady. That was his specialty. And the wind just got out of their sails. Here's my question. Like, clearly there's problems all over this roster. What's wrong with Ben Johnson calling them out publicly? Like, the problems are there one way or the other. What does that affect? How does that affect things?
Here's why. Because you can call out the team publicly like he did twice this week. And I get it. You're 0-2. So, like, it's desperation time. Like, you're in DEF CON.
Right.
If you lay another egg.
Right.
It shows that the team is not responding to your message.
But they're 0-3. Like, that's the problem, not what Ben Johnson is saying.
No, I'm saying that it kind of is, though, like, in my opinion, because if the team shows no effort, we don't know what's going to happen against Dallas. Is Dallas going to come in and, like, hang 50 on Chicago? I have no idea. I don't think so. But, if
they might.
They might. I don't know. But if, say they go out and it's bad again, well, then Ben Johnson's message didn't land.
So? Yeah, they're 0-3. It's a disaster. Yeah, of course.
Bro, this was a team that had a preseason, their win total set at 8.5. This is not a 4-win team.
Right.
This was a team, and I think we're doing the revisionist history thing now, that they were a sexy playoff contender. There were expectations on this team. You go 0-2. All right, now the expectations should change. We see that. But let's not pretend like Ben Johnson took over. He took over a team, and it was supposed to be, all right, now it's the beginning of the rocket ship with him and Caleb Williams, and it's looked like anything but.
Yeah, but my point is, if they're 0-3, it doesn't matter what Ben Johnson says. We are all going to view that as a dumpster fire. No matter what, Ben Johnson, what's he going to come out there at 0-3 and say, I'm really pleased with the way this team is playing? That'd be even worse. I actually prefer this. It sort of reminds me, it's a little Bill Parcells-esque. Just like, I'd rather the guy be honest, be like, we stink.
Yeah.
What's that famous line we've been throwing around? Like, what do you think of the team's execution? I'm all for it.
Yeah,
like Ben Johnson has every right to be mad at this team. If they go out 0-3 because of this expectation, we're all going to know things are rotten in Chicago. Like, you and I argue about this a lot. I think press conferences get a little bit overrated. Like, what's the difference if he calls them out or not? They're 0-3.
No, I'm just saying the heat that it brings onto Caleb specifically.
Well, he's been saying nice things about Caleb, though.
Sure. Well, but the quarterback's going to wear everything, because he also said of Caleb this week, he's got to throw the ball away again.
Yeah.
He's saying it again and again and again. And so,
but he also said he saw great improvement in week 2.
You see discord is what, right. And so
0-3 is all the discord I need to see. And by the way, I think he's also probably pumping people like, I could bench Caleb too. So what if he's like, I love Caleb, and then he benches him in week 7? Then we'd be like, well, why were you kept on saying I love him? And by the way, he has said really nice things about Caleb Williams. He pointed out like a bunch of small things he did much better in week 2. He just said he's not really seeing things perfectly yet. And honestly, I thought Caleb Williams was pretty good in that week 2 game. And honestly, he should have won in week 1. I feel like the judgment on Caleb Williams is a little out of control. I've kind of thought that. I'm like, yeah, he's 2 games in with this coach who has this crazy complicated offense. Like, he's not been great, but he certainly hasn't been like the worst quarterback in the NFL.
No, but I think the stat lines can be a little deceiving. I mean, they were playing from behind for the entire second half of that Lions game.
Yeah, and they tried to run the ball still, and they can't get a yard.
And I still think that he's showing the habits, and that's why I started off this show saying the Bears had 99 problems, but I didn't think effort was one. And that's the thing.
Amon-Ra St. Brown had a 60-yard catch on the first play of the game and ran right through. You didn't see low effort on that play?
No, I'm saying heading into the season. I didn't think that's what Ben Johnson was going to have to address, the fact that the team is loafing and quitting on plays.
Would
and
you
that's
admit
what
that-
he's saying. Because here's the thing about Caleb, right? Like, yeah, we could say he's going to give you a couple wow throws. He's starting games now 10 for 10, 11 for 11, stuff like that. We get it. In the beginning of the game, he's good. And then what happens the rest of the game? You know, like there is a next level part of this that maybe he'll get, but maybe he won't. I don't know. And then, you know, you and I, we do disagree on sort of what the quarterback's role is. I think the quarterback's role is everything. Everything. And forgive me for that, but I think the quarterback's role is everything. I think it's, you know, being the guy to extend the coach's message into the locker room. It is the guy to hold people accountable. It is the guy to understand and pick up the offense. It is the guy to understand what's going on with the defense. It is the guy who's got to stand up there and take all the slings and arrows. It is the guy who's got to go pat people on the back. Like, it's just a demanding position.
Let me ask you a question. Who won the Super Bowl?
The Eagles.
What was the relationship like with quarterback and wide receiver one?
Dicey.
It was not even dicey. They didn't speak for the last 16 games.
I know,
They just won the Super Bowl. So where's all that leadership? Jalen Hurts doesn't say anything to anybody. He just won a Super Bowl.
It's because you have a cheat code. Because you're cheating.
Oh!
It's because you're
if you
cheating
have the
with the
tush push
tush
to the
push.
quarterback to the... Oh.
Yeah, that's why.
Okay. You win that round.
Yeah. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. There's also not the heat that was on Caleb Williams, that was on Jalen Hurts, that's on Caleb Williams. Jalen Hurts was not anointed as a generational talent. He wasn't a number one overall pick. He wasn't a first-round pick. He was somebody who had the benefit, I think, and, you know, play your hand, of walking into an amazing team. Great GM. You talked about Ryan Poles has never drafted a Pro Bowler. What's Howie Roseman done? Putting guys in the freaking Hall of Fame.
Yep.
And he did not come in with any expectations. He was like a sigh of relief after he got rid of Carson Wentz. It's a different thing.
Do you think Patrick Mahomes has ever said a single word to any defensive player on the Kansas City Chiefs?
All the time.
Get out of here. He's Pat Mahomes. Chris Jones is a leader of that defense, and Travis Kelce's probably the leader of that offense.
I don't think you can say that. 888-710-4.
I saw Kelce yelling at the whole team yesterday, including himself, in the last game. I don't know that. I think there are lots of different styles that can win. That's all I'm saying. And Caleb Williams is 23. I agree with you. I do not think he's cut out for those roles, but I think they have bigger problems. Just get him to be a competent quarterback first, then get the leadership stuff.
There was the one other piece, like detail that was in the Ty Dunn piece, our pal Ty, about Caleb Williams and one of the criticisms of him. And I thought about it when I'm looking at Ben Johnson criticizing his overall team this week and their effort levels and their practice levels and all of that stuff. And the one thing that Ty said people got wrong about Caleb's evaluation coming out of USC. There was an idea that Caleb Williams was caught on camera crying after a loss where he ran over to his mom and he was crying and people criticized him for that. And what Ty said in talking to dozens of people around the NFL is what the public got wrong about that was that people in the NFL didn't care that he was crying. They don't care that he's emotional. They want to see him hate to lose. They want to see him. The fact that he went to his mom and not to his teammates was the real red flag. It's not the painted nails. It's not and it's not the crying. It's you weren't with your teammates consoling. Instead, you went away from your teammates. And so I thought of that when I was listening to Ben Johnson.
That sounds like the quarterback who didn't have anybody invited to his birthday party in the movie Draft Day. I mean, that's great. It's a great narrative, but hey, what?
No, it's a terrible narrative for Caleb.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, it's a great spin on things. But hey, if Caleb can actually get rid of the ball and throw it to the open guy 10 yards away against the Cowboys, then all those narratives go away.
But the difference between the movie Draft Day, which you just alluded to about not getting invited to the birthday party or no one coming to the guy's birthday party, is they still took Caleb number one. In Draft Day, they pass on the guy because of that.
Yeah. Because it's a movie.
And so in real life, they still took him, but it doesn't mean that people weren't talking about it.
But real life is not a movie. Like, listen, all that if they had just beaten the Vikings, nobody would be talking about any of this. And they should have won that game. That's the ironic part. Like, they had that game. Dennis Allen's defense, I don't know what's going on there. That should be the first house on fire issue. They just let up 52 points, and they have all this money invested in this defense. Although they did lose Jalen Johnson. That's a bummer.
Yeah, the injuries were piling up a little bit. 888-710-4ISN. That falls on the head coach. 888-710-4476. I know he's an offensive guy, but you also are responsible for the defense, even with a veteran like Dennis Allen running the show. All right, so things are not going great in Chicago right now. I think that's an understatement. And for our Cowboys fans out there, the Bears. Are you now licking your chops a little bit looking at this Chicago Bears team? You got to go on the road, but are you thinking, all right, we can really, take on this wounded animal. We can really put them out at 0-3. Not that it matters. It's not a division rival, but you know what I mean.
Well, I mean, the Cowboys are probably worried about their defense, too, after last week.
888-710-4ISN. Let's go. Coming up next, we love checking in with one of our pals, Quincy Avery, quarterback guru. We're going to find out what's going on with Arch Manning, what's going on with Caleb Williams. We'll get it from the inside scoop. Quincy joins us next. M&P.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. 45 seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
It's Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
You know what's funny? Of all the Bears' problems, Pearl, you know when Jay-Z said I got 99 problems, but you know what's not one?
I got 99 problems, but a ain't one. I got the rap patrol on the patrol. Foes that want to make sure my clothes.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff Show. It's interesting. It's game day, and I don't see any tension over here on this side of the glass.
Oh, just wait.
Dolphins, Bills. Maggie Gray, if you don't listen to the show, she's the only person in the America, probably the world, who is nervous about the Dolphins coming to Buffalo. Literally the only person. Even Josh Allen is chill right now. How you can bend your mind to be nervous about this game is fascinating to me.
That's because I'm a real fan, and I remember lots of things. Is that a dolphin?
That was from Key and Peele. That was one of the players from the East-West Bowl, and it sounded like a dolphin, so I grabbed it.
Thank you. Like a jackhammer in my ear. All right, it's too early for that, Manny.
You know that big book they have? I think it's where they list all the mental illnesses. I think it's called the DSV or something. Anyway, being nervous about the Dolphins in Week 3 coming to Buffalo should be a separate category and just a big picture of your face.
There's a Maggie Gray appendix at the end.
Yeah. If you can't relax coming into this game, then you can't relax coming to any game. All right, let's get some headlines, folks.
Oh, hey,
It was a miserable
I'm not
experience.
used to you throwing it to me, but I'll do my best.
Yeah, jump in.
Fumbled there.
Headlines are sponsored
Never going to make this squad.
by Prize Picks. Don't miss any of the action this football season with Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Download Prize Picks, use code PRIMETIME,
What about Shedeur?
and get a $50 bonus credit instantly when you play $5. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details. Joe Burrow is obviously the better quarterback, but maybe Brock Purdy has tougher feet. The Niner QB back at practice yesterday on a limited basis and apparently has a chance to play this Sunday despite his toe injury, all while Burrow gets ready for surgery and that 3-month absence. Kyle Shanahan asked yesterday if Mac Jones playing well Sunday in New Orleans allows them to go slowly with Purdy.
Mainly just how he's feeling and how he thinks he can go, what he thinks he can do today, what does he think he could do tomorrow, Friday, and Sunday. Really doesn't have anything to do with how Mac played, whether it was good or bad. Doesn't really affect that. I just talk about where Brock's at right now.
The
Yeah,
Niners,
sure, to Brock, it probably matters.
Yeah. The Niners have their home opener Sunday against the Cardinals. As for Burrow, Zach Taylor would not put a timetable on his return yesterday, but did say they're hopeful Burrow plays again this season. However long Burrow is out, it appears that Jake Browning will be QB1.
Goal is just to execute well, play fast, make fast decisions, and be decisive, and try and help us win. And yeah, whatever comes as a result of that, or however everybody's feeling right now, I'm pretty focused on just doing my job.
Not that you could forget, but it is Bengals, Vikings, Browning, Wentz this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
It's a game that was made in a lab for Andrew Perloff. The only thing that would be better is if Andy Dalton was playing for the Panthers this week. That would be an awesome week 3 for you. You guys are friends.
Yeah, I mean, Dalton's a 4-time Pro Bowler. I think he's a little bit ahead of Jake Browning, but I expect Jake Browning to throw for 400 yards in this one.
400?
Well,
against Brian Flores is often.
Flores will get lit up sometimes, though. Like, they have some, big games. I don't know. I just feel like Browning's going to throw 3 picks and 3 touchdowns in every game. He's just going to throw it up. He's like Eli Manning. He throws a very catchable ball. It just is often caught by the cornerback as well as the wide receiver.
Yeah.
Another change atop the AL West last night.
Here's the 2-1 now, Tuve. And he rips it. Palacalle. Left field and deep for Altuve, his 26th of the season.
That's Robert Ford on Astros Radio, a tie-breaking 2-run homer from Altuve off of Jacob deGrom. The Astros a 5-2 win for a 3-game sweep of Texas. And with the Mariners' 10-game winning streak ending in KC 7-5, Houston has a half-game lead atop the division. Guys, back to you.
Bogusch, thanks. We'll get back to you in just a little bit. But, of course, our first guest is up early because that's how you do things when it comes to college and professional football. Quincy Avery, QBTakeover.com, quarterback coach, quarterback guru. We love turning to him when we have big quarterback questions. Yep. Quincy, thanks so much for the time. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Maggie. How are you?
I'm doing great. So I'm not doing better than Arch Manning, but like the fact that we could be in this conversation is not great for the Texas QB. So Quincy, let's start here. How come even people who are just casual fans sitting on their couch can watch Arch Manning through these first 3 games and say something doesn't look right? What do you see out of the Texas QB?
I see someone who does not look prepared to play the position, both physically and mentally. So physically, he makes wild throws, inaccurate. And then mentally, you would think that he would be a step ahead of the game. Like his eyes would be processing the game really fast. He'd be able to work through progressions. He'd be able to get them in the right place. We don't see that. The play that I go back to all the time is a 3rd down versus Ohio State, where he has a concept to the front side and then a shallow cross running right across his face. He sees it, but doesn't do the little things like get his feet aligned with his eyes so he can make a really easy 5-yard throw. He misses that throw high and behind, and now they get off the field. They lose the game. It's those little plays right there that encompass all the problems we're having because it looks physically bad, mentally it wasn't prepared, and that play right there is the difference between them starting really good on the season and people feeling really confident that he's going to figure it out and where they are today.
Quincy, is it possible, like, you play golf. You know how sometimes golfers get, I don't know, like something in their head where they just can't execute this way? The yips. Is it possible there's something going on? It's maybe not lack of preparation, but he's got a case of the yips where things are speeding up or he's just feeling too much pressure.
And if I said lack of preparation, that's on me. I just don't think he's prepared enough. Like he may be doing everything you can be doing in the film room and it just not be processing for him. So I think he has a processing problem right now. It could be the yips, but the way that he's throwing the ball, it definitely looks unique. They're pretty staunch in the Texas locker room that he hasn't experienced an injury. So if he hasn't experienced an injury, I'm going to be honest. I just don't think Arch was ever that good, right? There was never any reason for people to talk about Arch in the way they talked about him. He was never supposed to be this guy who was a one-and-done prospect, started the year for 1 season, went on to the NFL. He has never done anything to show any of those things. So when people vault him up and start talking about this, the expectations have just gotten so high for him that it's unfair. He does not have the talent to meet the level of expectations that people put on him. So I think that we look at Arch like, yo, bro, what's the matter? And he's like, this is who I've always been. Why are you guys expecting anything else than the thing that I'm doing right now? And that's the situation that we've kind of fallen into.
Yeah, I just want to tell listeners, Quincy, you said this on the show before Arch even took a snap at Texas, that you said a lot of this has to do with his last name, not who he is as a recruit.
Yeah, so Quincy, we're talking with Quincy Avery, QBTakeover.com, and a quarterback coach. So if you were there with Arch Manning, like what's the first thing you're going to do before they play Sam Houston State? So you think you get a nice little runway here before the SEC schedule starts?
We would really just have to go back through, watch the tape, talk about the little errors that he's making. Let's figure out why you feel the need to throw in the way that you're throwing. Because I went back and watched tape from last year. His throwing motion does look dramatically different. It's gotten a bit more sidearm. He doesn't close his front shoulder in the same way. And he kind of finds himself like slashing or getting really fast from the top end. So in terms of fundamentally, that's what we try and work on. And that's hey, son, we're just going to roll the balls out versus Sam Houston State. We were better than them when we were born, so we don't really have to worry about winning or losing this game. We're going to win. All I just need you to do is start reestablishing your confidence, right? And that's a big thing. It's like, how can we get him more confident?
Last one on Arch, Quincy, sorry, then we'll move on to Caleb Williams and some others. Would you bench Arch Manning? Do you think that would help if he can see the field from the sideline? Would that be a positive for him? You have to bench him for the season. You have to bench him for a whole game, but just even a couple series.
Arch has been seeing the season from the sideline for a long time.
Mm.
He's a junior. There's no more we sit down and I think that's going to help you out. If we sit you down, we're sitting you down. You're no longer the quarterback for us at the University of Texas. And I think that Sark is in a really difficult position. And when I say that, you're coaching one of the most famous or prestigious last names in football. And the Mannings have a lot more power than I think people are aware of between the young quarterbacks who go to the camp, the influence that they have on them, the need for you to want your quarterback to go to their camp. I remember when C.J. Stroud decided that he was going to pass on the Manning passing academy, and the way that I forget the oldest Manning, the way that he talked about him to teams and the way that they started to think about him just because of that. So it's a very powerful family. It's going to take a lot to be able to bench him and really feel confident about your decision. So I think they got to kind of roll with the punches for a little bit. They're in a real difficult situation.
All right, Quincy, let's turn to the NFL. What do you make of Caleb Williams' marriage with Ben Johnson through 2 games?
I think we talked about this before, but I said it was going to be a process. You're asking somebody to play so different than the way that they played football their whole life. If you watch Caleb at USC, Lincoln Riley ran an offense where he just schemed one guy open and Caleb would run around and wait till that guy got open, he'd throw it there. He didn't have to go through progressions and get under center and make real play calls. Caleb wanted to go to the NFL and have his cadence be down, set, hut. There are 32 NFL teams. Not one time has anybody done. That's just like immature. The level of football that we're trying to play is not commensurate with even that cadence. He was not prepared to play at the NFL from the neck up. Now, Ben Johnson is asking him to play graduate level football. We're not just playing like entry level college courses. We're playing graduate level football right now. And I think that it's just going to take him some time. He has all the skills, all the talent in the world to do these things. It's just about how do we get you comfortable enough where you can be able to be yourself but playing within the confines of the offense. I ask guys like that all the time, hey, can you just do the simple things extraordinarily well, and then when you got to put your cape on, then go do that. But all the other times, let's just be really good at the simple.
Quincy Avery joining us, QBTakeover.com. We love talking with him. He's a quarterback coach and guru, and we have a lot of quarterback questions. And you could have given me 1,000 guesses, Quincy, about the next person I'm going to ask you about. I would have never guessed we'd be talking about Daniel Jones, Indiana Jones, after 2 weeks. Is this sustainable with what we're watching from Daniel Jones, who looks now, Pro, like one of the next reclamation projects in the NFL?
Yeah, I think that he's in a really good system for him. So coming from the Daboll system, right, in comparison to things that he's doing now. Daboll, he came from the Patriots. It was very free-flowing. Like, hey, we're going to read this field left to right. You find it. Like, you feel really good about the things that we're doing. The offense that he's in now, Steichen, is it's the discipline that he needs because he did not have the creativity to play in an offense like that. He needs to be 1 to 2 to 3. And I've seen guys who have the ability to really excel in one offense and similar to that, but then when they go to a more structured West Coast style, hey, first progression here, second progression to the dig, third progression to the shallow, they just didn't have that ability. They needed to see things and feel things a different way. Now, will he be able to continue this? I just don't have a whole lot of faith in Daniel Jones as a player. Like, yes, he does look really good right now, but eventually water finds its level. And he's not this good, but I don't think he's as bad as some of the things that we saw before. So I think we're going to find it somewhere in the middle, right? We're going to find he's a starting quarterback. I think he's somewhere between the 16 to 22 range, right? I don't know where that gets you, but I think that he's going to be a solid quarterback for a good little bit.
Quincy, I know a team you've worked with a lot and you've been around a lot, the Minnesota Vikings. Kevin O'Connell seems like he has had a lot of success with different quarterbacks, but J.J. McCarthy really struggled in week 2. Now he's out with an injury. What's your early take on J.J. McCarthy's first year starting?
I think physically J.J. has some things he needs to work on. in terms of being able to layer the ball a little bit when he throws. There's some things thrown to the left, like physically he's not doing right now to put himself in position to be super successful that way. I think he's of immense talent. Him, like Caleb, though, he hasn't been put in positions to run an offense in this style. Yes, he's at Michigan. Michigan was all play action. We've been running the ball so much, we got a guy who's going to be open for a chunk play. I love the confidence in which J.J. McCarthy plays. I do think it's wild the way that people talk about him. It's a bit of revisionist history. If we think about him that first game, him coming off the sideline, him yelling at guys, letting guys know what he was going to do. Yes, they happened to win that game. But if they do those things in a loss, right, because I don't think he played great at any point in time in that game. He played solid in the fourth quarter. But if they lose that game, everybody be killing him, talking about who does he think he is, first-year starter doing these things. They just happen to win. So I'm interested to see what his career path looks like. I think that it's going to be a little bit difficult for them to figure out, okay, how do we figure out ways for us to get Justin Jefferson the football while J.J. McCarthy's our quarterback, so he learns the nuance between, hey, I got to get my number one receiver the football, and I have to play smart with the football. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out.
I also want to put in a plug for the Quincy Avery Effect on Hulu, a documentary. It's awesome, by the way.
Great.
And you get to see footage of you balling at Morehouse, just as a wide receiver. It's really, if you have a young football player in the house, I would recommend watching it. It's a really great documentary. And they made you look really muscular in the animated version of you. Were you happy with that?
Look, I think that you guys are really knocking how muscular I was back in those days.
Yeah.
I put on a little fluff, a little cushion. But I had some muscle.
You look like Batman in the cartoons. I told you that. But they were so well done. I love that part of the documentary. It's really awesome. I highly recommend it.
It is great. Quincy, before we let you get on out of here, and again, thank you. Getting up early, we know, is just part of the job here when you're working with quarterbacks, and you do it so well. Back to the college ranks for a moment. Dabo Swinney had to come out, kind of defend his entire Clemson history and record. They had some incredible quarterbacks. And now Cade Klubnik, who was really good last season, does not look the same. What's going on with the Clemson QB?
There is the most difficult year for a college quarterback, a top college quarterback, is the year after everybody talks about them being ready to go to the NFL. That is a year filled with pressure, a year filled with expectations, a summer filled with media appearances, trips to places that you had never expected, all those things. And I think that they're having a really difficult time. And it was interesting to hear Dabo talk about Cade after the first game. And he talked about him in a way I've never heard a head coach talk about a star quarterback. Just talked about he was missing reads, he was doing this wrong, he was doing that wrong. I wonder where his confidence is at. Because without confidence, you cannot play the quarterback position. That is your strongest muscle as a quarterback, is the ability to be confident when you walk the line of scrimmage. You have an idea of what you want to do with the football, and you can go up there and be confident in making that. He doesn't have that right now. And got some unfortunate breaks. He throws an interception to a guy who's jumping up to bat a ball down. Like, they shouldn't lose that game to Georgia Tech, but they also need Cade to play at a higher level, and I hope that he gets it back. I think Cade right now is probably like a fifth-round quarterback, right? Fifth-round quarterback, and he's gone from someone who I had projected in the first round, and I really hope things change or turn for him because for one, I think he's a fantastic kid, and two, I think he's a really good football player.
Quincy, thank you for doing this. Quincy Avery, check him out on social media, QBTakeover.com, and also the documentary is fantastic. So thank you, Quincy. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you guys.
Thanks, bud.
Okay, we got to take a quick break. We see you guys on the phones. You want to talk about Caleb Williams, so let's do it. Come on board. 888-710-4ISN. Coach Ben Johnson calling out the whole team in press conferences twice this week after they got blown out to the Lions, and now they welcome Big Bad Dallas into Chicago this weekend. So we'll talk about that next, M&P.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to the Maggie Perloff Show. Thank you to Quincy Avery, who, if you missed our interview with the quarterback guru and coach from QBTakeover.com, did not hold back on Arch Manning and what's going on with the Texas quarterbacks. It's physical, it's mental, does not look prepared, and by the way, may not have been so great to begin with. This could just be who he is.
That's the one that caught me. You know what? It's not like he's saying that after 3 games. He was pretty clear coming into this whole process that he did not think Arch Manning merited all the attention he was getting. He didn't think he was a 5-star level quarterback.
Now, if you're a Bear fan, I thought Quincy was a little bit, he was kind of, Like, hey, this is going to be a process.
Yeah, be patient.
Not writing anything off, but the fact is that Ben Johnson is asking Caleb Williams to play quarterback, as Quincy said, at a graduate level where he wanted to come in. This is Quincy word. That Caleb thought he could come to the NFL and do a downset hike, ready, set, go, and that's not going to fly with Ben Johnson. It's going to be a lot more complicated than that.
Yeah, I mean, you've actually been alluding to it all week. Ben Johnson seems like a coach who wants a quarterback to run a pretty complicated system, where Caleb Williams is famously a great backyard quarterback, what you call a backyard quarterback, because he can scramble and find guys down the field, keep plays alive with his legs. It's very clear with the way the pass rush was getting after him first week. Just get rid of the ball, dude.
That's what he said. You got to throw it away. Jason is in Washington, D.C. Jason, good morning. What do you think of Ben Johnson calling out his team after 2 weeks?
I love it. I actually love it as a Cowboy fan. I'm hoping he continues to do it at least this week. Take some of the focus off of them this week.
Yeah, right. You're right. It's weird when Dallas is not the main story when they're going into a game. Right. That's what the Bears are providing you.
Absolutely. No, I think a couple of things here real quick. I think if Ben Johnson came in and he was expecting Caleb Williams to be Jeff Goff, I think that was bad in his expectations. What I think Ben Johnson has to do is he has to treat Caleb like a rookie. He has to dumb this offense down. He has to only allow him to read half the field. He has to make it just simpler as possible and stop asking him to do the things that he just can't do. Is not his strength right now. And then second of all, what he has to do with this whole entire team, he has to stop calling them out in the public. He's got to go behind closed doors and practices, call them out, and find the real leaders. I'll get off the phone and I'll listen.
Yeah. Jason, good points around. Now,
yeah,
listen,
I agree.
We're not behind the scenes, so we don't know if they have actually simplified things on the offense. We're not in the Bears playbook, but at least from what we can, people tell us and what the Ben Johnson himself kind of said is, I'm actually throwing everything at Caleb, and then he will catch up. So not dumbing anything down. He's got to catch up to where we are. And as far as calling people out, which is what Ben Johnson did twice this week, and they got blown out by the Lions, so this is the time to do it. But Pearl, this is where you set yourself up as a first-time head coach. There's going to be a moment where Ben Johnson makes a mistake. There probably already has been one.
Yeah,
maybe we just don't even.
There were a couple of big mistakes in the Minnesota game.
Right.
I think he messed up a review, and there's been definitely a lot of procedural errors. They've had a lot of flags, which goes to the coaching.
Exactly. Yeah. So, depending on what kind of locker room you have, and you got to make sure that guys are okay being coached this way. Because guys can say, well, coach, you messed this up. I mean, you just had a coach in Matt Eberflus who was very much, a problem on the sideline.
I walk into that Bears locker room, I'm pulling a Dion. You 70, you're out of here. They clearly need a new roster. Like, I'm sorry, this is on Ryan Poles. They've been, based on what we know about how they approach the Caleb Williams draft process, they probably approach every other player that way. There's no accountability in that locker room based on the record. So Ben Johnson has a right to yell at everybody.
Let's go to Carl, who's in Chicago. Carl, you're a Bears fan. What do you think is the biggest issue facing your team?
Well, first of all, it all starts off with the management and the family. I'm actually trying to organize a peaceful protest where we go out during our bye week to Hallis Hall and we demand the firing of Ryan Poles. Hopefully, if we can get the radios and national news involved, you'll see that happening in a couple of weeks. After George Hallis died and his son died, the only people left to run the team and the family are people that are business people that don't know anything about football. Because Virginia married a businessman. And so when she has her son running it, he's admitted he doesn't know anything about football. He doesn't know how to evaluate any talent. Every time they've hired a team president, it's always been a trusted family that has nothing to do with football. Mm-hmm. And it's a domino effect that's been going on ever since Dick got fired and that 85 team was dismantled. And the ability to not be able to, when someone goes in to apply for a job and they're interviewing, no one can tell if they're lying or they're full of crap or not because they don't know what they're looking for. So then they hire all these GMs. If you look at guys, look at the resume of like Ozzie Newsome and John Lynch. And then you look at Ryan Poles, who played like at Boston College, great powerhouse, and then he was a failure, a one-year practice.
Hold on, Carl. 1 second, though. So, Ozzie Newsome, John Lynch, these guys are more the exception than the rule. John Elway winning a Super Bowl with Denver as an executive. Sometimes the great players are not great executives, but it's a good point he makes, which is ultimately ownership is hiring in these huge positions if they are not good at it, which it looks like the Bears ownership is not. They've got a problem.
He's dead on. But Ryan Poles did block for Matt Ryan in college, so that was a big deal.
but take that. And what was that, a peaceful protest in week 5?
Yeah.
We'll keep our eye on that. Maggie Perloff Show.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
I don't know if there's anybody, Pearl, under more pressure to look a certain way this upcoming weekend than Arch Manning. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff, because I know a lot of the shine has kind of come off Arch because of these first 3 games. We thought it was going to look a certain way. It really hasn't looked that way. Now, they lost to Ohio State. No shame in that. You know, they're the number 1 team in the country now. But then, 2 wins against teams that are much lesser competition. And you can just even see with the naked eye that Arch is clearly struggling. Yeah. And so they play Sam Houston State this week. They're a 40-point favorite, basically.
Right.
This now, though, is the appetizer. And these have been the appetizers before the SEC schedule starts. And I know this is not Arch's fault, but Texas was the preseason number 1 team in the country. We're kind of expecting them to be a playoff team. And I'm not necessarily ruling out that they can get to the playoff, but Arch has to look a certain way. Like, we're all expecting that Texas is going to obviously win this game. No one's on upset alert, but that's not what it's about when it comes to Arch, because it's the physical part, and it looks like the mental part has gotten into and short-circuited brain a little bit on some of these throws.
All fair, absolutely true. I do think, though, that people are overlooking other elements of this Texas team. That Ohio State game, I tell you, every time we just had Quincy Avery on in hour 1 talking about Arch's mechanic problems. Every time the camera got behind Arch, you could see the receivers, and every one of them had an Ohio State guy glued to them. I mean, not just like they weren't just covered; they were basically like holding hands. They were like that Greg Kinnear movie where he was like.
Stuck on you or something?
They were stuck on you. It was incredible.
Never seen that one.
How covered the wide receivers were, and then Arch took a couple deep shots. And every guy was covered. Then he found something in this
Parker Livingston.
19. And those targets, he's at like, his rating's like 110. To Ryan Wingo, the supposed star, his passer rating's like 30. So there's clearly something going on with the rest of the team. And they have not run the ball at all against teams that they should go out against Sam Houston State and they should run for 400 yards. But they're not. They're at like 3.5 yards a clip, which in major college football is not good. So there's a lot going on. I've seen that Sark has talked about other stars pressing. He said Ryan Wingo is pressing. He said their star defensive end Colin Simmons has been pressing. Like the rest of the team is just not. Maybe it's Arch's fault, but everything's going on Arch. But does the rest of the team look any good at all? They should, even if Arch plays the worst game of his life, they should be blowing these teams out a little easier, the 2 last games.
Yeah, so winning 38-7 against San Jose State. But if you were watching the beginning of that game, it looked pretty rough for Arch, and then he kind of got it together. And then UTEP 27-10. Again, these are wins. Like, should it matter?
Well,
the style points and how it looks. It's just when even someone with the naked eye who had never seen football before, if you were like that, this quarterback looks, was supposed to be amazing, and then you look at it, it's weird sidearm stuff. The footwork is all bad, all of it. So here's the other deal with what's going on with Texas. Sam Houston State comes in. That's an 8 o'clock Eastern game. But then you're at Florida. And I know Florida is on life support right now, and Billy Napier looks like he could be shown the door. DJ Lagway just threw 5 picks in a game against LSU. However, you don't want to be the team that goes into the swamp and all of a sudden it's the turning point of the Florida Gators season where they somehow get back on track, and they do it by road grading you. And then the week after that, it's Oklahoma, who's right now ranked 11th in the country and has one of the Heisman favorites in John Mateer.
Yeah, but to be fair, Oklahoma is a really that hasn't been tested at this level.
And it's a rivalry game.
If you're playing Florida, here would be my advice to Sark. Hand the ball off every time and let that defense score 27 points. Because Billy Napier will call plays that put the ball in so much danger, and DJ Lagway will throw it anywhere. He doesn't seem to care. So I don't know about Florida, Maggie. If they beat Florida, we're not going to be impressed. Let's put it that way.
It's kind of no-win situation, right? You go there, lose to Florida, then the sky is falling, you go and beat Florida. It's like, well, Florida stinks anyway. That's a tough spot.
I think somebody called in last hour and said, if you're Ben Johnson, the Bears coach, you should simplify everything and make it one read or hand the ball up. That's what Sark has to do with Arch. He has to simplify. Because you have 5 stars everywhere. You should be able to run the ball and win these games. I mean, that's honestly that's Sark's superpower has always been run game. He's a great spread offense coach, but he always had set everything up. It was always like 2nd and 2. All his quarterbacks were the reason that all the Alabama guys were wide open is because the run game put them in great down and distance. Now Arch is living in 3rd and 8.
I got a bad feeling that Sark already has simplified the offense. I think he's doing that already. I don't know if you can
Well,
get
he's only
more
played
simple.
one real game.
No, I'm saying even like the second half against San Jose State, I think in some of these games, I think he is already going like, oh boy, I think I got to simplify things. I think he's doing that, and I guess it is having success. But again, the opponent is not a true reflection.
But the San Jose State game, like San Jose, the game, the UTEP game, right?
Yeah, that was the last game.
Malachi Nelson, they couldn't move the ball 3 yards against Texas. So Texas knew we're just going to hand the ball off. But when they handed the ball off, normally the number whatever team, 3, they should be gashing them. They should be not even having to pass the ball. They should be up 47-0 on their run game. And for some reason, that is not there. Watch it this week, even against Sam Houston State. Their running backs should be getting, I don't know, you should have 2 running backs with 150 yards. That's not happening either. So all I'm saying is not just Arch. There are a lot of players on that team who are totally pressing. And I feel like the Arch expectation is filtered down. Do you need Arch to, they're a 45-point favorite. Arch could have the worst game ever, and they should win that game by 30.
Yeah, I mean, listen, people are going to say that Contravian Wisner is dealing with a hip injury, right? Yeah. Lower body, but it's weird because yes, he's one of the standout running backs for the Longhorns, and he's hurt, but it's Texas, for goodness sakes. Do you think that their backups are also going to be able to run the ball effectively against, some lesser talent, not the SEC caliber talent? I'll ask you this question. I'll even throw it out to the group if you guys want it. Finish this sentence. If Arch Manning struggles against Sam Houston State, or I think it's just Sam Houston now. I've been calling it State. I think it's just Sam Houston. Apologies. ... Yeah. If Arch Manning struggles this weekend, fill in the blank there. Pearl, you go first.
The media will have a heyday and nothing will change.
See, I'm going to fill in the blank. If Arch Manning struggles against Sam Houston, he must be benched. And we just had Quincy Avery on who said benching Arch Manning is not going to do anything because he's already seen enough from the sideline. He's a junior. He was watching those last 2 years. He's seen plenty. Quincy knows more about quarterbacks than I ever will. But that, to me, if he struggles against Sam Houston, it is so mental. You've got to do something, even if you're not sure if it's going to work. This is the last time this season you can get away with that, okay? If you play against Florida and it's going badly, that's a much more high-profile game. Oklahoma, are you kidding? The biggest rivalry, one of the biggest rivalries in college football? You can't bench him then. This is your last chance. If he's struggling, you've got to take him out.
And is there a famous guy behind him that I'm not aware of?
No, but you don't need a great quarterback, in theory, to beat a team you're favored to win by 40 points, right? Like, you can go to the backup against Sam Houston.
In
Florida at the Swamp, that might be a bigger challenge.
I claim ignorance here, but I'm pulling up the depth chart. According to our lads,
Matthew
Caldwell is the backup. He is a senior transfer. He's a 3-star recruit. I don't know anything about him. Trey Owens is a 3rd stringer. He's a freshman who looks like in his picture that he's 12 years old. He's a little bit more.
As we get older, these college kids look younger and younger.
I really haven't heard much about the guys behind him. So
doesn't matter. They can.
You say it doesn't matter. What are you talking about? Every game it kind of does matter, doesn't it?
Well, you just said that they need to be running the ball anyway. Like against Sam Houston, guys. I'm not saying this is the last time. This is the last moment of the season where you could actually bench Arch if he doesn't look good coming out of this game, and you could bench him for a half or bench him for a couple series or something to try to shake things up. Because then you're at Florida, Oklahoma, at Kentucky, Mississippi State, Vanderbilt, Georgia, Arkansas, Texas A&M. Like, this is it. The SEC schedule starts October 4th.
Yeah, you definitely can't bench him because they would kill his confidence anyway. And also, it could cause so much fuss for Steve Sharp. It'd be such a massive distraction. And third, there's no one else to go to. And even Arch not playing, at least he's been, somewhat serviceable. I mean, I'm sorry. I just don't trust Matt Caldwell in a big position because I've never heard of him. That's why.
Wait, what's his name?
Matthew Caldwell. I'm calling him Matt.
Step on up, Matty.
Does he have any stats? Maybe he's actually.
Played at Troy.
He played at Troy.
Okay, so I wouldn't.
Watch out for the Trojans.
Listen, fine. He can play against Sam Houston.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, 13 touchdowns and 8 picks at Troy in the Sun Belt Conference. And, yeah, I don't know. I mean, come on. I understand what you're saying with looking at the schedule, but you can't bench Arch. I mean, unless there's some kind of injury, I really don't think you can under any circumstance.
Do you go fake injury on this thing? Like we suspected in our group chat that maybe the Vikings are putting J.J. McCarthy on ice. This was, just theories here. We don't know anything. We're not alleging anything. But
based on
maybe taking a step back here.
I don't think that's going to happen because remember when someone kept asking Sark about the injury and he made that bathroom face analogy? He's like, I don't know what you're like, because Arch Manning keeps wincing when he throws and someone asks Sark about him and he's like, I don't know what that means. Like he's perfectly healthy.
Yeah, no, Sark doubled down. He's definitely not hurt. And that was, Sark said, we don't have a camera on you when you're in the bathroom. So how do we know what your face looks like? And everyone was like, ha ha.
No, they're like, what?
Yeah. Football coaches making jokes is always dicey. EJ, what do you think? Arch Manning, finish this sentence. If he struggles against Sam Houston, ...
It would confirm that he's not the guy. Like, it would to me, if you get to week 4 or wherever we're at and you're playing Sam Houston, you still can't look like a frontline quarterback, then he's not a frontline quarterback. It's not going to get – could he improve in the SEC? Could he play better? I say yes only because I saw DJ Lagley do it last season. So I could see him in a weird way playing better later in the year. But you would still come into next year with all these questions about is he even that good?
Like he would play up to the competition.
Yeah, I think there's, again, you just get more time, more experience. Like I think he probably would put together some good games at the end of the year. And he's playing for a good coordinator or play caller in Sark. But no, it would confirm that he's clearly not a top-line guy, that he clearly was overhyped. And that any expectations on him all have to be lowered to a considerable level for him to reach. Because saying that he's this generational guy, he's one of the best quarterbacks we've ever seen, he's not anything close to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, to be fair, like the NFL probably has a different process around all of this because there have been quarterbacks who stunk at parts of their college career. I mean, Josh Allen was really bad, like the first half of his last year at Wyoming. Yeah. Jordan Love had a stinker of a year. Like the NFL.
Yeah, but those guys weren't playing for the number 1 team in the country.
Well,
like Texas's defense, like you should be able to get a little more of a clear evaluation. Josh Allen's playing at Wyoming. Jordan Love's playing at Utah State. Like these were not.
Yeah, but I do think the NFL it just has a totally they see what's happening in the college field and they see it totally differently. And there's going to be some coach out there who thinks, oh, I can fix that. He's tall, he's got a cannon, and he can run. They'll be like, oh, I can fix that.
The one thing though, I hate to bring it to this, but you know what's going to happen if that does happen. If somehow
it will happen.
If Arch Manning is some guy who's an average college quarterback and he gets drafted in the first round, all of the Shedeur Sanders fans and Deion Sanders fans, they're all going to come out and be like, see, this is clearly bias against Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders played in college, and he was putting up great numbers. He put up, he threw all these touchdowns. He had all this production. And then here you have Arch Manning, who's throwing sidearm and looks like he's going to the bathroom according to his coach when he's throwing the ball, and he's going first round. People would have a problem with that.
Well, that'd be great on social media, but in the reality of the NFL, I don't think it really would make
but here's
any
one thing that could make a difference. And again, Quincy Avery just joined us, quarterback guru and coach. And if you missed it, you can check out the Maggie Perloff podcast or hit rewind on the Odyssey app. All great ways to find that. He was talking about the influence that the Mannings have over the league that is like soft influence and kind of like hard influence, like whatever the political science term is there. He was talking about Archie Manning. He gave us an example of Archie Manning didn't like it that C.J. Stroud passed on the Manning Passing Academy and was bad-mouthing C.J. Stroud. The score to Quincy behind, kind of like behind to other teams because he decided to skip out on their prestigious camp.
Yeah.
So
that tracks.
Right. And we were talking about you're just bringing up Deion Sanders now and Shedeur and if, Arch got overdrafted where Shedeur fell. People worried about Sanders' influence in the building, right? Deion's, that is. Now, Deion's an actual college coach, so maybe it's a little more acute. But would you be worried about the Manning family influence? If you draft Arch Manning, do you kind of get the opinions of Cooper and Archie and Peyton? I don't know about Eli so much.
I mean, yeah.
Would that be a negative,
Super Bowls, though? And Eli won 2 Super Bowls.
No, I
know.
So
obviously the Manning influence is a positive because you had probably had Archie up in your business, and it worked great.
No, I'm saying would that be a turn off.
No, I think it'd be a turn on based on history.
But like, you be worried about, do you get a call from
I
the
know what you mean.
Mannings?
I know
like,
exactly what you mean.
If Arch is not starting, do you get like the same thing that we would say about Deion meddling? Like, Deion's an inner circle Hall of Famer, and that was looked at as a negative that he could be meddling in a team's affairs.
Well, here's the thing.
What about Shedeur?
He said we're literally going to pull an Eli.
I was talking about this the other day. In 2004,
It's going to be an Eli.
there's no doubt that Phillip Rivers and Ben Roethlisberger were better college quarterbacks than Eli. Eli went number one because his brother was awesome. So that was a full-on Manning effect. And nobody can convince me otherwise that. I mean, eyeballing Ben Roethlisberger playing and Eli. Eli was good at Ole Miss, but those guys were awesome in college. I think
Eli
the Manning.
he did finish third in the Heisman. I just want to set for the record.
But I mean, that's just my opinion. I thought that the Rivers and Ben were. I thought Ben in particular was a way better prospect. But the Manning name, like, guaranteed going number one.
Well, I don't know if a quarterback from Miami of Ohio was going number one overall. That was obviously not right. Ben Roethlisberger should have been the first quarterback taken in that draft. But
anyway, the Mannings got there, and like Archie manipulated that process. We all know that, and it ended up working out great.
No, I know, but like it was the same thing we said about Shedeur. You draft the kid, you're welcoming in the family, and that was looked at as a negative with Deion, but it would be a positive with the Mannings.
Well, that's because of Deion.
But Deion knows ball.
Yeah, but Deion he's just a very, very candid in front of a mic. The Mannings, they
move in silence.
They not exactly,
no,
but
not really. Actually, it's kind of messy.
Archie does not.
No, it was kind of messy.
Archie said he
Eli.
wanted Arch to be a Dallas Cowboy over the summer. Remember that?
Yeah. No, I know, but I think Deion is just a little too candid for most NFL Billies. We know that. I mean, why would you want? I personally wouldn't want to coach Shedeur because Deion's awesome on the mic, and he will point out all your flaws very openly.
To be fair, Deion has stayed away from the Browns, though.
Yeah.
While this whole thing worked out, he has a day job.
But I don't even understand. Like, doesn't this feel like it'll be just like a lot of like fan and media noise about the Shedeur thing? Like, this is like NFL teams have to look at each case individually, I think. And I don't think if you're evaluating Arch and the word Shedeur comes up, I'm like, why are you talking about Shedeur Sanders? Like, you got to talk about each case individually. To be fair to Shedeur Sanders, I think they should have probably talked more about who he was as a quarterback. We'll see. I don't know. I think people are way too down on Arch now. I think he has. I'm curious if he ever did turn it around. You know how it works. Everybody would jump right back on.
Yeah, well, he should be able to turn on against Sam Houston. Again, 888-710-4ISN. Fill in the blank or finish this sentence. If Arch Manning struggles against Sam Houston, ...
Sam Houston State also acceptable.
Is it acceptable?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
yes,
good.
it is.
Phew.
But here's the thing.
By the way,
Can I ask you a question? If he plays well, what will we say?
We got to see it against Florida.
Yeah.
To be fair.
And then if he plays well against Florida,
though,
rightfully we should say, let's see it against Oklahoma. And that's how I view it.
But, actually, I think that we'd breathe a little sigh of relief, actually, if he plays well if it looks different against Sam Houston. I think be like, all right, phew, like he got this worked out, yips, whatever it could be, mental, too much pressure, all the stuff, you could totally understand it. I think we would say, like, all right, now we can just, like, go ahead with the season.
I think that would be a major mistake as well. Like,
really?
Oh my God, who cares if he beats up Sam Houston? Say, what is that indicative of anything?
No, I'm saying it's not even about the final score. It's just about can he actually hit a wide receiver in stride?
Yeah, I don't think. I think if anyone is evaluating Sam Houston State, that's a massive mistake as well.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Talking to you about Arch Manning. And again, if you missed our interview with Quincy Avery, it was good. We'll put some stuff out on social media about that, what he had to say about Arch and about Caleb Williams and about Daniel Jones. You tried to rebrand Daniel Jones many years ago.
Yeah, well, I have heard this joke that now he's Daniel Dollars instead of Danny Dimes.
I don't like this game.
Dude, you're the new Jets. All your quarterbacks become awesome when they leave.
Stop, bruh.
Also, you got Jackson Dart. You got Dart.
Yeah, it's not
yet.
What good is he when he's sitting on the sidelines, Mags?
No, he gets in every once in a while, weirdly.
Yeah, he does play.
Yeah, 3 plays.
What are you talking about? If you look at the numbers, Russell Wilson might win MVP finally. He's like leading. He's been by paper amazing.
If only he could play the Cowboys secondary.
But by paper. And then even then, if he plays the Cowboys secondary 17 times this season, he'll probably throw an interception, a moon ball interception late.
What do you think it's going to look like against the Chiefs?
Hey, by the way,
we're not 250 yards at most. total
You say
offense
that, but
for the Giants.
the reason he had 450 yards was he was just throwing the ball up in the air and hoping Malik Neighbors was found it somewhere. So there was nothing wrong with his thinking on that
Hey,
interception.
man, that's the Brian Dable way.
But Neighbors
Close your eyes and throw.
Neighbors cut the other way. That's what happened. Otherwise, Neighbors probably would have caught that pass. There was a
Leak is down there somewhere.
Yeah. It's like the old Randy Moss offense. Okay, drop back and just throw the ball in the air and let him run
hopefully
under
somebody will be under it.
Yeah.
One
Not
of
on
those
the
plays
other
with
team.
Wandale Robinson looked like the second coming of Randy Moss.
Yeah,
That
how
was
about
pretty
that?
cool.
A Wandale Robinson sighting.
Where was that performance? I had no idea that dude had it in him. I tried to get him in my fantasy league. Yeah, I tried to get him in my fantasy league on Tuesday night and lost out in the free agency draft.
Good. Congrats. But you're better off.
888-710-4ISN. Finish this sentence. If Arch Manning struggles against Sam Houston, ...
You have a problem.
Coming up next, we got another quarterback ruled out for this week, unfortunately. But what does it say about the bigger goals for the team? That in just moments. M&P.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
This portion of the show is brought to you by Ethos Life, the easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam, just a few health questions. Get your free quote at checkethos.com. Not available in all states. It's going to be an interesting college football weekend. I don't think it's a lot of ranked teams playing each other, but we do have Utah and Texas Tech is a very interesting game because I think a lot of people outside are very curious about, wow, either of these two teams going to be really good this year. We look at two potential playoff teams coming out of that conference. I know, Maggie, you're you're very into the Texas Tech backstory about the big donor and who's now running commercials to limit college football playing.
And about what we should be voting on, like to sign a petition about something. I've tried, by the way, I've read like 6 articles about that, and it's still kind of murky about what they're actually asking the public to do. But anyway, I'm actually into both of these teams. Utah was one of my picks to make the college football playoff, so I'm really into them. And in Texas Tech, I'm very curious about all this money and the influence of it, and does it really have this changing of the guard effect at the top tiers of college football, which I think we expect it will do, but does it really take out the Alabamas who are crying poor, and all of a sudden the Texas Techs of the world and the Texas A&Ms are the ones who get elevated? Weird little note about this game. 17 versus 16. That's the rankings. Utah 16, Texas Tech 17. Noon game. Big noon kickoff, Fox, right?
Yep.
So it's 10 a.m. Mountain Time for the college kids there. So
heck yeah.
That's an early start.
That's high
or
altitude.
a late night.
High altitude.
I don't know.
If there's a lot of late nights in Salt Lake. It's in Utah, right?
That is true. I guess maybe the venue does maybe play into it. Manny, if you were a college kid, you're the closest of all of us to still being college age.
That's right.
And your team was playing at 10 a.m. local time. Do you just stay up all night and just start your tailgate? Because you're going to start your tailgate at 7 a.m.
I'm
8
still
a.m.
20, 21 years old, right?
Yeah,
no, I'm staying up all night.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
But
Not
I
anymore
don't.
at my advanced age.
Actually, I know BYU, none of that's how. Like, do they even tailgate at Utah? I'm not even sure what the.
Well, you don't need beer to tailgate.
You can
Yeah.
get hopped up on root beer over in Provo, Utah. You kidding me?
Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts
delicious mugs.
I did a game in Salt Lake once, and I did remember, I'm like, what is going on here? How come nobody is partying? Because I know you have to be a club member to be in the bars, and like it's a weird spot. It definitely is not your normal college atmosphere. But it's the most gorgeous. It literally is the most gorgeous. Both stadiums, BYU and Utah, most gorgeous place. We were talking about the Utah quarterback, Devin Dampier, is a Heisman bet. But they've played, talking about Sam Houston State, they did beat up on UCLA, who's kind of the Sam Houston State of major college conferences.
I mean, like, just destroyed and also forced them to fire their coach. George is in L.A. George, what do you think about your Texas Tech Raiders, Red Raiders?
Well, to be honest with you, Maggie and Perloff, I think Texas Tech would beat Texas right now. And I know they've been playing Sisters of the Poor, but still, they are doing what everybody thought Texas would do. They're blowing away teams. And they're playing their second and third team by the fourth quarter or earlier in games. And 2 of their games have been shortened by the crazy weather, crazy Tornado Alley, Lubbock, that massive storm. I don't know if you've seen it on YouTube. Oh, my gosh. But anyway, Texas Tech is real. Yes, I'm pleased with our billionaire donor. It's about time college football got more even with the teams. I don't care what Alabama or Texas or whoever else cries. They cry all they want. It's the way it is.
George, thank you for that. Enjoy the game against Utah. His name's Cody Campbell, right? I just want to make sure we're on the same page here. He played at Texas Tech and now is the guy who's in the commercial and asking people to basically read up on this, a sports broadcasting rights.
Oh, yeah. He wants some sort of antitrust thing going on, right?
Basically, I think he wants the Bogusch, you're probably going to have more on this than I will, but it's that he wants like the conferences to be able to negotiate like the NFL does, which I believe is kind of outside antitrust law.
I can't help you here.
Okay.
I got no time for guys trying to limit what players are making anymore.
Well, it's just funny that the way they're selling on the commercial is like, if you don't vote for this, like women's sports could go away. It's like, I really doubt that the women's sports is what's driving this, but whatever.
That's Trump's line too. Trump put out a big letter on college sports and said, you gotta protect women's sports and we gotta protect the Olympic sports. That's sort of become the new, because this is all about the SCORE Act in Congress, right? Like, which they keep saying is at the 1 yard line. I will tell you right now, there is anything that passes or anything that happens will change in 3 months. That's all. Yeah.
Oh, did you see yesterday the big college football news?
What's that?
About the portal, the transfer portal?
Well, yeah, but we knew that was coming. That was.
But is it going to hold up? This is your point. So yesterday
they need one portal.
No, but yesterday they announced, let me tell the audience, yesterday they announced that instead of having 2 transfer portal windows, there used to be one in the
December
and then also one in the spring. Yeah. Now there's just going to be one. The spring one is gone. But why I bring that up is your point is anything that limits anything that has to do with the players is getting, is not flying for Congress. For so long, the players had no rights, had no ability to move freely around college football, or all the reins have been taken off. Do you think this will hold up?
That one, I hadn't seen that presented as a player rights thing, because even with 2, there was still limits on transfers, but everybody, it's a universally hated 2 windows, right? Because
maybe not by the players.
Well, it's just now, what did they move the first window back? That's what
they have not. They did not finalize that.
Yeah,
yesterday.
Because that's the problem. Like, guys transferring before the end of the season is a massive problem. Right?
So it happened kind of famously with Penn State, right? Bo Prabula.
Yep.
I can never say that guy's name.
Former Penn Stater.
Right. So when Drew Aller said he was coming back for another year, then their backup quarterback, who had seen a little action through the season, had to transfer before they went into the college football playoff.
Right. And the end of last season, everyone's like, this, I seem to remember maybe you had it, that they were already well down the road of killing this portal system, because the coaches obviously hate it. It is a little messed up. That's a perfect example. Like, that can't happen anymore.
No, you might want to change it till after the college football playoff is over. But then they're saying, but actually an actual school calendar.
Yes.
But an actual school calendar, it doesn't line up with that.
The current proposal is to move the window to the Monday after the CFP quarterfinals, which is usually like one of the first or second days of the new year.
Yeah.
So you'd still have people transferring when the season's not over, and then the kids who are still playing in the CFP would have more time after they're done to get into the portal since they're playing.
Yeah.
And apparently, when you go in that portal, you can stay in there for as long as necessary.
So you can. I'm curious. Can you transfer and then still play for your team?
I mean, that's up to the school.
Yeah.
Like if you put your name in the portal and you have a semifinal game, the school can say maybe you should stay home, or you could absolutely still be our backup quarterback or whatever.
I believe SMU's backup last year was in the portal, but he was still there. But he was still there ready to back up Kevin Jennings if they pulled him.
Right. And I can't speak for, obviously, all of the programs, but I also think that a lot of times when players go in the portal, the coaches already know it's coming. So, or they know a guy's going to go in the portal when the season's over, and those guys stay on the roster and they finish their job and they do whatever. So it's not like every time somebody goes in the portal, a coach is like, "Oh my God, what's Timmy doing?" So whether they're in the portal officially or not, like, this stuff is always happening, and those guys always sometimes hang around. It's not like a start. Like, it's not breaking news to the team every time somebody puts their name in the portal.
Yeah, although that Nico Iamaleava Tennessee thing got pretty ugly, and that was ended up being a spring portal
But
situation.
those are the exception to the rule.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. You said after the quarterfinal.
Yes.
So that means 4 teams would be. This would only affect 4 teams that might lose players if that rule. So it's a very small. Yeah, it's 4 out of 300. Whatever, FBS and FCS schools.
But again, I think like the large majority of people going into the portal probably have already told their coach they're going in the portal before whatever this new date.
Yeah, because the recruiting is happening 24/7, 365 on the sly.
And for quarterbacks, it's extra important because only one quarterback plays, so that's the one. Like you got to, there's so many open chairs, you got to jump on that chair when it's open.
And that's
if
why
you're a linebacker, you just like go on to the depth chart.
And that's why the players, I think, like quote unquote the spring window because that's after spring ball. So now you know if you've lost your job then, and you try to go find a new one for the fall instead of being stuck down the depth chart where you are. So that's the one that's going to go away, and that's the one the coaches don't like because it messes up their roster building so late in the process.
No, they stopped doing scrimmages.
Right.
Because teams were poaching off of the red and white game.
The spring game.
Yeah, the spring game. All right, Bugs, what else is going on in the world?
All your headlines are sponsored by Progressive Commercial Insurance, protecting small businesses with affordable coverage options. Get a quote today at progressivecommercial.com. Outside of Maggie's head, the Dolphins are 12.5-point underdogs in Buffalo on Thursday Night Football. That is the largest spread so far this season, even larger than Maggie's size 9. Sean McDermott searching for things to be worried about.
They've got a lot of speed on their team overall, in particular on their offense and their returners as well. They do a lot of different things. I think Coach McDaniel is one of the better coaches in the league.
Sure. The Bills will be without D-tackle Ed Oliver and linebacker Matt Milano for this one. Start your stress treadmills around 8:15 Eastern tonight.
We're another day closer to death.
Devon Achane could have a day.
If
he stays in bounds.
This narrative I've created, I don't know if you guys have sensed it. It's maybe because Maggie says next to me. It is annoying how bad the Bills' schedule is. People are picking up on that all over. It is a joke how this happens.
So the Dolphins, the Jets, and the Saints over the next 3 weeks?
Not even that. I was just looking for our knockout pool, because obviously tonight is a legitimate choice. But I was trying to think, do I want to save the Bills for later in the year because
you and I think alike.
They're the Bills. So let me just see their schedule, see how many more obvious Bills wins are coming.
Against the Jets.
They only play 3 road games before November 1st. They start 4 or 5 at home to start the season.
Yeah, did you guys have this
fix is
energy
in.
for Tom Brady's Patriots when they didn't have to play anybody?
I did.
Nobody hated him more than me.
Bills have to play Kansas City, by the way. They have to go
And
where?
The 0-2 Kansas City Chiefs?
They have to go to Houston, which is always a tough place.
They'll be 0-3.
Their record?
At Pittsburgh. And they play your Philadelphia Eagles.
Have they played a team that has won a game yet this season?
Well, but Houston, we think, is actually good, right?
They might get a coach fired tonight.
Possible. Possible. Or Miami rallies, and this is the most spirited effort they give in some kind of death rattle of the season.
Or you're delusional.
Come on.
Okay, but here's the thing.
You're
though.
making poor Perloff choke over there because of this ridiculous
You're making me laugh.
I'm sorry. Can we just agree on this as a show?
Uh-huh.
If I am the one who's like, hey guys, they get paid too, they're professionals also, and they're desperation mode, and the Bills may be in cruise control and no Ed Oliver tonight. If they somehow do get upset, then you can't come in and make fun of the Bills for blowing it to the Dolphins, because I'm the one who's here with a healthy respect still for Miami, and you guys are the one that's clowning them.
Well, we're not to make fun of you. We can still make fun of the Bills.
Yeah.
This is like one of those things I can't believe. Well, I'm sitting here telling you they are going to bring their best effort tonight, Miami. They have to. This is it.
Then what happens if the Bills win by 35 points?
Well, then I'm going to sleep at halftime, and that would be the first time
then we come
you
back
get a
and say,
good night's
Maggie, we
sleep.
see there's nothing to be worried about. We told you they were going to get destroyed, the Dolphins.
I'm hoping that's what's going
I can't wait for it to be 30-0, about 7 minutes left in the third quarter, so I can go to sleep.
The Bucs were hoping to find Baker Mayfield feeling healthy after that crash into Will Anderson during Monday Night Football. Their QB said yesterday his left leg felt fine. No need to seek up an appointment with his bodywork coach, Dave Matthews. this lesser Dave Matthews lives in Arizona and visits Baker during the season when necessary, but it's apparently not necessary right now. Baker,
and it's not that Dave Matthews? Are you sure?
I'm very positive. Yeah. Baker was wearing a compression sleeve on his leg yesterday when he spoke to reporters. He was listed as a full participant at the Bucs walkthrough.
Do you know why?
History of that.
He crashed into Will Anderson.
Yeah,
you were waiting for that.
I already said that.
You did? Oh.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
I also know someone named Dave Matthews.
If I knew a second Dave Matthews song, I would use
the other
that
day,
part.
you knew one wasn't Crash. That's like half a song that you knew. 1.5.
I don't know. It's always tough for the guys who share a famous name with somebody, but it's such a common name, like the Michael Jordans of the world.
Yeah, I saw the other day the Bucs activated Michael Jordan.
Yeah, Tom Brady, like our greatest athletes.
Michael Jordan.
Our greatest athletes, some of them just have the most obvious names.
Yeah, there was a kid on my football team in high school. His name was Tom Brady. And it was very disappointing when he couldn't play quarterback.
Well, there's an irony, too. There's a Tom Brady who was an executive for the NFL for a long time. There's a Randy Moss who's a
horse racing.
And there's another guy, like all these famous names.
Remember down the hall when they booked Randy Moss thinking that it was going to be a football player?
At the Super Bowl. Yeah.
And in particular, Greg Giannotti, who's a Vikings fan, thought he was getting to speak to one of his heroes, the footballing Randy Moss, and he was the horse racing guy.
Yeah, but who's awesome, by the way. So that
Sure, but that's...
But
Randy Moss is a great interview.
I know, but you kind of have to be like so good.
Okay, Mike. I hate to say it, the horse guy delivers.
Sure, but imagine if you guys, as a gift to me, booked Dave Matthews, and I thought it was Dave Matthews. You gave me the bodywork coach.
Baker Mayfield's body guy.
Body instructor. Leave me alone.
You'd be disappointed, but you'd have questions.
For you.
You would want to know what's he doing with Baker.
No, thank you.
Man.
Chandler Simpson and the Rays cooled off the Blue Jays last night.
1-1.
Thank you, Chan.
Swinging a ball, lifted in the air to deep center, driving back Simpson toward the wall, leaps, and did he catch it? Yes, he did.
Simpson robbing a 3-run homer on Rays radio. He would add the tie-breaking RBI single, bottom 7 for a 2-1 Tampa win, ending the Jays' 6-game run. Their AL East lead on the Yankees dropping to 4 games, with the Bombers winning in Minnesota 10-5. Cody Bellinger homer drove in 3 RBIs as well for Jason Dominguez and Ryan McMahon.
Somebody was omitted.
Yesterday afternoon, the Cubs clinched their first postseason trip since 2020 with an 8-4 win in Pittsburgh. And Messi and Inter Miami reportedly close to an extension, a finalized deal expected very soon. There were some rumors that Messi might have been looking elsewhere. Guys, back to you.
We forgot about one of the great common names from around here, and someone who really plays it up and gets maximum effect is our guy Tom Izzo down the hall.
Oh, yeah.
Not so common as a Tom Brady or something like that, but Tom Izzo, who works here every March, will respond to every bad social media post of people think they're calling out the Michigan State basketball coach, and Tom just plays it like a chef's kiss. Our Tom.
Yeah, and but only in March. Like the rest of the year, we don't even. Yeah, I should.
He changes the Twitter handle, like to the photo to Tom Izzo.
Yeah, because it's a picture of him and Tom Izzo, which is hilarious.
Yeah. I call him Coach. I'll go down the hall. Hey, Coach, what's up? Good morning, Manny.
You were about to say, Pearl?
I'm going to stay away from it because I know somebody who has the same name as a famous actor, and he used all the accidental followers to become a political firebrand. In a way that a lot of people don't like.
There's another Leonardo DiCaprio?
No, I can't even go because if you guys Google this guy, he's in big trouble now.
Damn it, Sam Jackson.
Yeah, it might as well be. But he basically got like 100,000 followers who thought they were following the actor and then used that to express his political views.
Oh, remember that guy? Remember that baseball player who was J-Rod? Do you guys remember that scandal? There was a guy.
That sounds familiar.
No, there was a guy, I forgot who it was, but somebody was pretending to be J-Rod, and it was the baseball player J-Rod, but it wasn't him. It was somebody else.
Impersonating him.
Yeah.
Well, that's just lame.
Well, no, but this went on for, years.
Oh, boy.
This was not haha, this is funny. People for years were like, wow, J-Rod, this, guy who played 5 years in Major League Baseball has a lot of opinions on things. And then the guy
really
came out
in on
randomly.
These farm subsidies in a way that's
he came out randomly. He's like, hey, guys, I just want to make it clear, I haven't been tweeting ever. This is my first time on Twitter. I didn't even know this guy existed. This is not me.
Well, So our friend Peter King, there was a politician also named Peter King.
Big time.
And then Dan Patrick.
Dan Patrick, the Texas lieutenant governor,
is a big political person.
That's a little bit like me, though. A lot of people, I gained a lot of fame because there were a lot of guests on the Dan Patrick show who thought I was Christopher Mintz-Plasse.
Yeah.
I'm not joking. They're like, I can't believe I get to meet the real McLovin. I'm like, no, that's not me. And they still, for some reason, didn't process, so they still thought they were talking to McLovin.
It's just funny that they would meet you and then in person and then still be like, it's the guy.
But I don't know, like, was Ken Jeong really a super fan of Andrew Perloff? I think he must have thought I was McLovin. Like, I've actually, like, I still don't know. I want to talk to him someday, but I don't think he would tell me the truth.
All right, 888-710-4ISN. Let's take a quick break. Coming up, we've got some injury stuff for you from the NFL. You got to hear this. M&P.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
Wakes up at dawn, coffee brewing, screen turned on. He's got a favorite show to see, the Maggie and Perloff Symphony. Oh, pine needles are tuned in tight to infinity, sports radio every night. Maggie and Perloff, your daily delight. In their words you find your life, from highlights to the breaking news, every take you can't refuse. In the chat, he's always there with comments, questions, wisdom to share. Oh, pine needles, you're tuned in tight to infinity, sports radio every. Living life in 20-second views, scrolling through, he's got no time to lose. Maggie and Perloff, daily's keeping score, YouTube's his love. He's begging for more, double tap, clicking on that video. From sunrise to sunset, he never lets it go. Maggie snappy, Perloff's got a glow. Daily's hooked, he's looking for the show. Chasing trends, Daily's on a quest. Comments pouring in, he's one of the best. From every corner of the internet's reach. Daily's voice. Steady to breathe. Steady to preach. Reach it to preach. Living life in 20-second views, scrolling through, he's got no time to lose. Maggie and Perloff, daily's keeping score. You Andrew Bogusch, lost in the fog of golf. Bogusch can't see his way. People out his voice in his ears every day. Tom Brady's glory.
Uncle Sam's on YouTube, tune in for some laughs, with a beer in his hand and his feet on the grass. He cheers for the Bogusch and Perloff with a toast to the day. 4th of July is the best, you'll hear him say. Raise your glass, light the sky, it's the 4th once more. Uncle Sam's got stories that you can't ignore. From Maggie.
1 minute remaining.
studies
Okay, use
missed.
this one, please, Billy.
He chokes and
The Chicago Bears haven't won a game yet. And head coach Spence,
turn for some laughs with a beer in his hand and his feet on the grass. He cheers for the Bogusch and Perloff with a toast to the day. 4th of July's the best, you'll hear him say. Raise your glass like the sky, it's the 4th once more. Drunkle Sam's got stories that you can't ignore. From Maggie to Perloff, he's got quite the plan to celebrate.
15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
welcome back. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Let's get to some injury news. So Jayden Daniels did not practice on Wednesday, Pearl. Looks like we are not going to get another update until Friday afternoon, and he's dealing with a knee injury. And this is a quagmire here for Washington. Now, what do you do?
Wait, what's that? I like Marcus Mariota. I think he's it's Mariota, right?
Yeah, but do you even bench him? Like if Jayden Daniels is pushing to play, you know, what do you do with this? That's what I'm saying. It's a quagmire because you have to be thinking in the back of your mind, all right, the team as a whole, not this current regime, they all messed this up with RG3 years ago. So Robert Griffin III, who is also a running quarterback, Jayden Daniels is maybe not as much as RG3, but maybe it's about the same. Anyway.
No. Oh, I see what you're saying.
As far as like run pass.
I thought you meant it's Mariota, right?
No.
Young Mariota could run too. Now he can't.
Yeah, remember he famously like threw a touchdown to himself. Marcus Mariota did it in a playoff game, I believe, with the Titans. Anywho, Jayden Daniels is a tough one because he's going to be pushing to play. This is not a severe enough knee injury where it's like no question, no doubt that he can play. But you're early in the season. You have tons of expectations. But I can understand if, you know, after that Green Bay game, you want to get this thing back rolling on the right track.
Yeah, I mean, I think Mariota is a good enough backup that you could be cautious, and I think you should be cautious. That being said, like we had no idea Jayden Daniels was hurt out of that game. I mean, maybe some people did. I had no idea. When he showed up on the injury report, I'm like, what knee injury? So it is a bit of a weird situation. If he was, you know, J.J. McCarthy, the same thing. We didn't know he was injured. And then we said, oh, well, they're just benching him because he stinks. So it wasn't like a major obvious knee injury. Like it's something subtle, right?
I guess, but it is keeping him out of practice. Now, just to kind of lay out their schedule, it's Vegas that they're hosting next. So it's kind of weird. It's an AFC team, then at Atlanta, at the Chargers, then a Chicago, Dallas, KC, Seattle, Detroit stretch. That is that's going to be a little tough.
Maybe Jayden Daniels is like, ooh, I want to face a Raiders team traveling east. That sounds like a fun matchup.
The other injury thing, and you're welcome to weigh in on Jayden Daniels, 888-710-4ISN for all of our fans in the Delmarva area. But EJ, Justin Fields ruled out with a concussion, suffered against Buffalo last week, Tyrod Taylor coming in. And I hate to do this, but did the thought cross your mind, would the Jets be better off just sort of tanking the season? And I liked how Justin Fields looked in week one, so maybe it doesn't have to be this severe. But did that thought cross your mind? Hey, maybe we get the number one pick if Fields, you know, has to miss a couple games, and we get our pick of the litter, or at least like first or second pick.
I mean, I'd feel that way maybe if it wasn't Tyrod Taylor getting into play, right? Like, I mean, I know Tyrod Taylor is also injury prone, so maybe he's somebody that will be out in a week or two. But in theory, if he plays for however long Justin Fields is out, I don't know if there is this huge drop off for the Jets. He's not the athlete that Fields is, but he probably processes better. He probably sees the field better. So the Jets' passing offense, while it looked really good in week one, I don't think will ever look as bad as it looked in week two when Justin Fields was out there.
Yeah.
Fields has like a big range of how well he can play. Maybe Taylor doesn't reach the heights of what Fields could do, but he's going to give you a steady game. So I don't know could you lose a lot of games with Tyrod Taylor? Sure, but I just don't know if like he's the quarterback you want to tank.
Yeah, it's the opposite. Honestly, like if you're trying to tank, then this is bad news for you. I think everybody thought that because Tyrod Taylor got at the end and looked way better than Fields did.
I know. The only thing is I think they were like the confidence was pretty high after a narrow loss to the Steelers.
Yeah. No, I know, but that's all gone.
Yeah,
It's all gone.
Yeah, 1 week just took all that away. Especially because it feels like the defense is getting worse. Like it was a really bad opening week, and then you saw that Steelers offense against the Steelers. I mean, the Steelers offense against the Seahawks.
Yeah,
and it looked nothing like how it was against the Jets. You're like, oh man, we might be really, really bad on that side of the ball.
Well,
big headline, by the way. Baker Mayfield says it's definitely Tyrod, not Tyrod. Because they played together about 3 different cities, apparently.
Yes, and it's going to be Jets at Tampa, which is why Baker was asked about it.
It is Tyrod.
Tyrod Taylor. Step on up. That coming up next is the King of the Mountain.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Uncle Sam's got his turkey day plans. Sipping bourbon from a can, yeah, that's his stance. He's got the Maggie and Perloff show on blast. Feeling thankful and tipsy, talking fast. Uncle Sam, he's the man with a drink in his hand and a wild family plan. Chatting up a storm about freedom and fuss, complaining about censorship and making a fuss. Daly's in the chat, shouting out loud, hey, let us speak free, don't censor the crowd. But Drunkle just laughs with a grin and a wink. He's got Maggie and Perloff and plenty to drink. Drunkle Sam, he's the man with the pumpkin pie and a turkey day tan. Bourbon in his cup, he's our #1 fan. Raising a glass to the Maggie and Perloff clan. So here's to Drunkle, all merry and bold, with Thanksgiving cheer and chat uncontrolled. He's loud, he's proud, a fan through and through. Cheers, Uncle Sam, we're thankful for you.
3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Kind of rare we would say this, but the Dallas Cowboys are playing the Chicago Bears, and it's the Bears that are the bigger story heading into that game. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. We're so used to the Cowboys sucking up so much oxygen, Pearl, but this time the Bears are front and center. They're 0-2. And their head coach is calling out the team in 2 different press conferences this week, calling out their effort, calling out their practice habits, and really kind of laying bare how much, no pun intended, how much work has to be done for this team to even be a contender. It's playoff contender or competent.
Yeah, so last week the Eagles-Chiefs did $33.8 million, which is like this massive number for Fox. I think this game does the same thing. I think Cowboys and Bears, because I think Caleb Williams is just must-watch TV in the sense that, like, we're all kind of really interested to see if he can step up here. I'm curious, like, it's a lot of pressure on Caleb Williams. Everyone, I mean, they must be aware that everybody in NFL Nation is talking about them. I wonder how that affects them. I kind of wonder if he's going to be tight here in Dallas because, as you said, for the first time forever, we're not talking about the Cowboys. Maybe Dallas is a little bit looser for this game.
Yeah, a bit under the radar, which is kind of shocking considering the summer they had going into the fall and the trading of Micah Parsons. But, you know, this is going to be a big game. You're right. I think it's going to do a huge number. This is a 4:25 Eastern game. And this is why you never know when you call your team out publicly how they're going to respond. And none of us know. We're all going to find out together on Sunday. But just for a little of what we're talking about, here's Ben Johnson let's play Monday first. Let's set this up chronologically. So, Manny, can I please have cut 18 first? This is from Monday, so they get blown out by the Lions Sunday afternoon. And here's Ben Johnson about what practice was going to be like this week.
We're going to have a lot more competition. I've alluded to it before. Just what these guys look like when the ball's not in their hands, that's a big deal for us. And so there were some plays there yesterday that we weren't quite as pleased with what that looked like on tape.
Right, so that was Monday, okay? So now let's hear cut 16. Ben Johnson has some time to look at the tape, and what did he find?
Yeah, there were things all over the tape on all 3 phases that we're looking to clean up, and I thought as a whole that team, they played a little bit harder than us. And that's a reflection of me as a coach. That's a reflection of our coaching staff, and it's a reflection of our players too. When you play a good team like that on the road, that you gotta be all out and every single snap, and that just was not the case.
It's kind of one of the most damning things you can say about a professional athlete because the talent's there. All these guys make it to the league for a reason. To say that they were not giving max effort is one of the biggest criticisms you can levy at a professional athlete.
Yeah, but I mean, if you allow 52 points, is that really a big deal to criticize your team for a lack of? You just let it 52 points. Yeah, no duh, your effort wasn't there. I would hope if your full-on effort was there and you let up 52 points, then you have a bigger problem on your hand. Of course they did. Everybody could see that the Bears were not fully engaged in that game.
Yeah.
So is it like a hot take from Ben Johnson to call out the team's effort? I think most coaches in that situation would do it. It's not super radical to call out your team's effort after a massive blowout.
Okay, that's fine. But then this was what sets up this game and this weekend. Because if you're not giving max effort against the Dallas Cowboys, so I don't think we believe are as good as the Detroit Lions, then now the coach, has kind of turned it back on himself. All the players are going to have to answer for it.
Yeah.
And if the coach's message doesn't get through, well, then the coach either has to try a different message or he can't replace every single player.
Not this year.
Okay, well, it's not the transfer portal. You know,
Well,
it's,
yeah, I
it's
mean,
professional sports with contracts and commitments to people.
That's the thing about the Bears and this narrative behind the scenes because of this expose on Caleb Williams. They were not holding Caleb Williams accountable. Now Ben Johnson is not only holding Caleb accountable, which he did multiple times this offseason in public, he's holding the whole team accountable. And if they're not going to deliver, then he's got to get them out the door as fast as humanly possible.
Okay, but this specifically, that would be the offseason, right? But this specifically could be a spot where maybe Ben Johnson's not doing his team any favors by calling them out publicly. Because there's ways you hold people accountable behind the scenes. You go to a press conference, say, hey, we're handling that behind closed doors. He's not doing that. And you just said, is it possible that the Bears come in tight for this game? Because people are watching, they're 0-2. And I just wonder if Ben Johnson is preaching this, every practice rep's got to be on point and we need accountability. Is Caleb Williams the guy who's going to execute those marching orders? It just, from all we've heard about Caleb Williams, both the people who are for him and the people who are critical of him, no one is saying that he's this really outsized leader. Now,
yeah, but so what? Ben Johnson's filling that role. That happens on teams, doesn't it?
Well, I think the coach can say it, but I think that the players are the ones who have to really start holding each other accountable. I do think that there is only so much you can do as a coach. I think we talk about some of the great teams of all time, which we're about to do in our King of the Mountain project. Yes, the coaches are great, but the players themselves also have to hold each other accountable. And generally, in this day and age, that comes from the quarterback. We talked about this with Micah Parsons. Can you be a leader from the defensive side of the ball? And you always said, no, it has to come from the offense. It has to come generally from the quarterback.
Yeah, but I mean, you think about the Patriots with the ultimate leader, Tom Brady. Tom Brady just stood there and watched Bill Belichick yell at everybody, including him. I feel like that came from Belichick.
See,
I mean, they were on top of their players. Everybody on that staff was on top of everybody from Tom Brady on down, yelling at them constantly.
No, I get that. But in Tom taking that criticism was a huge part of why then everyone had to take the criticism. But think about what Brady said once about Baker Mayfield, took over in Tampa. And he said, well, I have a feeling that we're having a lot more fun now. And Brady said, I'm sorry, it's fun to win championships. Yeah. It's not fun to sit around and yuck it up. I think Brady was absolutely executing Belichick's marching orders, 100%.
Well, he's like, he left because he was so sick of it.
Well, that was after
20
years.
But Tom Brady didn't have to go yell at anybody. I think that.
I think he did.
Belichick sat Malcolm Butler. I mean, all you have to Belichick, it was as hardcore as any coach ever. And it's the Bill Parcells model. He would basically call out anybody at any time. And he didn't even care. Bill Parcells did not work through the quarterback. Trust me. I mean, you could ask Phil Simms around here is a lot. Phil Simms wasn't yelling at people. Bill Parcells was yelling at people. I think there are different models to do this. And what's the downside here for Ben Johnson? Is they're 0-2. Call him out in public. Call him out behind the scenes, whatever. He has to get a fire under this team somehow. I'm not sure that it's a bad approach. I'm not sure that there's any downside to doing this in public because I think he really needs to inspire this team somehow.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. We're asking you about the Bears and what if the team does not respond to Ben Johnson calling them out in public?
It probably won't.
Is Caleb Williams the right person to deliver this message of accountability and trying to constantly be at a championship level?
The real question is, will they go to Tyson Bagent? I mean, that's really what's behind this. Because if it really, really goes off the tracks and Caleb Williams is not running Ben Johnson's offense, then Ben Johnson will probably go to Tyson Bagent. So that's really the big marker of this entire situation. That is, to me, that's a possible massive turning point in the Bears story.
Do you think we're there yet? Are we even close to being
absolutely
there?
Not. Okay. I think it could be, but if it's week 10 and Caleb doesn't, and say he takes a step back from where he was in week 2, then it's possible. I think Ben Johnson's putting it out there this is unacceptable. This is garbage from start to finish. And guess what? No duh. You guys had a Lions game. That was garbage.
Yeah.
The offensive line was hot garbage. The run game is disastrous. The defense is awful. So Ben Johnson, to me, should call him out even more.
All right. You can weigh in on Chicago. Going to have a lot of eyeballs on this game because they're welcoming in the Dallas Cowboys. And the Cowboys, for once, not really the story here, which is pretty shocking. Quick spread on that game looks like
it's close, right? It's 1.5.
Vamp. Yeah, Cowboys 1.5 point favorite, and the over/under at 50.5. Okay, we get some picks.
That is a high total.
That's a very high total. I'm looking at now I got to check the weather once I see a total like that in Chicago. Again, Vamp, 76 and cloudy.
Yeah, and I know Duran Bland and Diggs did not practice yesterday. So that is not the quarterbacks on Dallas. That's an opportunity. We'll see if Caleb can take advantage.
Again, you can call us about the Bears, 888-710-4ISN. Now, every Thursday at this time, we are doing something called the King of the Mountain, which is all season long. We are trying to find the greatest NFL team of all time. Whoever wins in a head-to-head poll that you vote on, and Maggie and Pearl on X, gets to be the King of the Mountain for another week until we put them up against another challenger. I'd love to say we planned it this way, but we didn't. The 1972 Dolphins were the first team out of the gate to face off against the 1998 Minnesota Vikings. Miami won that matchup. So last week, Miami, 72 Dolphins, undefeated season, still the King of the Mountain. Went up against the 1978 Pittsburgh Steelers. Miami Dolphins won. This week, a new challenger to those undefeated Dolphins. First, let's hear the Dolphins.
Who is the King of the Mountain? Maggie and Perloff search for the greatest NFL team of all time.
Okay, so the 72 Dolphins still your King of the Mountain.
Behind an offensive line that was simply awesome, Miami became the first to have 2,000-yard runners on the same squad. The inside man was Zonka, the prototype of the bruising fullback. He was perfectly complemented by the outside moves and speed of number 22, Mercury Mars.
Man, I can't tell if that's music for a football team or like a buddy cop show from the 70s. I love it all. And today, the 1972 Miami Dolphins, Pearl, still the King of the Mountain, face off against a new challenger, the 1984 San Francisco 49ers.
Joe Montana was named Super Bowl MVP. The 49ers won easily to finish the season with an NFL record 18 victories.
How you like that, huh? How you like that? Pretty good, huh? Oh, we kicked their ass.
Kick their ass. They can go back to Miami
and go and fish.
And go fish. Nobody knew what kind of offense we had. It was their offense. Right? Nobody knew. Our offense showed them, okay? And then, how in the hell were we going to stop Duper Clayton Marino? Nobody knew but us, right?
On their back.
Game ball. Coach Bill Walsh.
Okay, we did not rig this whole thing. Can we just point that out?
Did.
The first match that Miami was undefeated at number one. I'm looking at a list at the NFL 100-year anniversary a few years ago. They made a big deal. They put out top 100 teams. And I'm just going to tell you, Miami was number one. Don't let that bias your voting. Number two was the 85 Bears. Then last week's opponent, the 1978 Steelers, were number three. And this week's opponent, the 84 Niners, are number four. So we've had three of the top four teams of all time, according to this 100-year list already. And we just started this darn thing. And last week I argued that the 78 Steelers should have taken out the 72 Dolphins. And it was the closest poll we've ever had. I will argue again today. The 84 Niners have to take out the 72 Dolphins because the 72 Dolphins wouldn't even know what hit them if they played this 84 Niners team.
Wait, how could you say that? Now, I understand. You just heard it. The 49ers beat the Miami Dolphins in the Super Bowl, but you can't let that cloud you because this was not the 72 team. This was a young Dan Marino team. Very, very different.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I'm just saying because they wouldn't know what hit them because in 81, Bill Walsh came into the NFL, the Niners, I might have started in 79, and created an offense that the rest of the NFL could not figure out at all, the West Coast offense. And maybe by the late 80s, people started to figure it out. But 84, it was still in its prime, and nobody could coach with Bill Walsh. They were 15-1, could have been actually one of the first undefeated teams, beat really, really good teams in the playoffs. That was a pure system. Maybe not the most talented Niners team, But at that point, Bill Walsh was so far ahead. If you ever read the book, The Blind Side, that became the Sandra Bullock movie, it talks about how Bill Walsh took the NFL by storm with his offense. And that was the peak year, I would argue, was 84. And the Dolphins, as great as they were, they'd be like, what are these short passes? I've never seen a short pass in this. They would be mystified. And I know we're adjusting for eras, but I still think that Niners team is better.
Okay, so where the Miami Dolphins in 72, the undefeated team, were number one in scoring, number one total yards, rush yards, number one on the defensive side, points allowed, yards allowed, the whole deal. I mean, San Francisco, for that innovative offense, they were not tops in the league that year. Now, they were second, but they were not tops in the league in offense. Second in scoring, second in total yards, fourth in passing yards, third in rushing yards. Now, the defense was dynamite. Both teams have this in common. You know, they call it famously the no-name defense with the Miami Dolphins. This defense was also kind of like, there weren't like tons of like household name stars on this defense. And they even talked about that in a documentary I was watching about this 84 team yesterday. The whole team, you know, Joe Montana's obviously super famous and so is Bill Walsh, but they didn't have like these massive personalities on the team. In a lot of ways, they thought that was a secret weapon. People thought they weren't intense. They thought they weren't, you know, ferocious because they didn't talk a lot.
Well, yeah, to be fair, though, about not being number one on offense, can we just address that real quick? That's because Dan Marino just reinvented every passing record of all time. I was like, how are the Niners not number one on offense? That Dan Marino year in 84 doesn't count. That's
yes, it does.
That's why that was by so far and away the greatest quarterback season we'd ever seen. To come in second in passing, but they were top three in passing, so they could run the ball and they could pass the ball and they could play defense. So much like that 72 Dolphins team, the perfect Dolphins team, they were well balanced.
More Hall of Famers on the 72 Dolphins team by a few. This 84 49ers team, just FYI, if you're thinking in your car, like Jerry Rice was not on this team. He got there later. So
Dwight Clark, right?
Yeah. And there's some amazing footage, though. As much as I'm stumping here for the 72 Dolphins, there is some amazing stuff from the 84 49ers Pearl. Some stuff that caught my ear, again, from a documentary thing like America's Game. So let's play Bill Walsh first. This is Bill Walsh. So the team went 15-1. Okay, they lost that year. The only loss to a 3-3 Pittsburgh Steelers team, I believe, right? And they got hosed on a couple calls, according to them. This is Bill Walsh in the film session after that loss.
49ers suffered their only defeat of the season.
We say that officials can lose it for you. They did. But that's part of the game. They're inept idiots. But that is part of life, whether you're driving down the street or in the military or working somewhere or making love or whatever the hell it is. There are some things that happen out of your control. You have to account for them and overcome them.
I'm sorry.
Facts.
What was that?
All facts.
Which one of those things is not like the other?
They are inept idiots.
No, that was the first part, calling the officials inept idiots, which is funny. But he just said whether you're driving down the road, in the military, making love, there's things you can't account for.
Yeah, happens.
I don't see a lot here.
Yeah.
Sometimes it happens quickly.
Yeah.
Life comes at you fast, is what you're saying.
You know, you never know what's going to happen in those situations.
I mean, you have an idea, no?
Well, I don't know. Whatever. We're not going to get into that.
You got to be accountable for everything.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I did not see that left turn coming.
Yeah, I've kind of lost track of the actual topic here for a
the
second
actual
there.
message, yeah.
By the way, check
Bill
me
Walsh,
if I'm wrong on this.
Genius.
Was this, and maybe I'm totally wrong because the 80s had a lot, was this the last outdoor Super Bowl that was actually in daylight? Because that never, ever happens.
It's good.
It was at Stanford Stadium, which I've been to many times. My in-laws live out there.
It's a great question. The highlights I keep seeing are all night.
Well, it's definitely...
I mean, the game may have ended at night. I don't know when it began, though.
I'm almost sure I've seen a lot of highlights that has daylight in it, right? There's some famous pictures. That's the Dan Marino Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Double check that. Because it's unusual for that to happen.
Yeah, it was Super Bowl 19, right? Okay,
Yeah.
So there's another interesting thing about the 84 San Francisco 49ers, Pearl, and this was kind of a trend, and, you know, Manny's probably too young for this, and EJ too, but there was a trend where sports teams used to come up with theme songs for themselves. And this was the San Francisco 49ers. 14 players on the 49ers recorded this hit midway through the season.
14 guys from the team recorded a song called We're the 49ers. We're the 49ers. We will rock you till we win the fight.
Man.
I've never heard that in my entire life. Have you guys heard that?
I had not.
I remember watching the doc and seeing this. That's when I remembered it.
Whoever produced that track, I would love to have seen the mountain of cocaine that was in front of that person. That thing sounds like, that's like the 80s, just up your nose right there. Now, I didn't live through it, but I've heard. It's a banger of a song,
all
though.
80s team? Why do they all got songs?
Yeah, the 85 Bears at the Super Bowl Shuffle.
Yeah, the Icky Shuffle. Like, what's with these teams? And they need a song in order to talk about their season. And they all seem to be good, by the way. None of these seasons flamed out.
But Icky Shuffle, was there a song that went with the Icky Shuffle? I don't believe so.
Yeah, there was.
Oh, there was a...
Definitely.
Oh, what was the song? It was called the Icky
Shuffle. Something, you got to do the Icky Shuffle. It was something. It was a song.
Oh, was it? Okay, I just remember the dance.
I mean, the Knicks then did this in the 90s. You know, the little Go New York, Go New York.
Knicks.
Yeah, Perloff had to sing it once to pay off a bet. Should we bring this back?
Knicks.
The Eagles did a Christmas album recently with Jason Kelce, but they were just singing covers.
Well,
I was just thinking it's rubbish.
You get different theme songs, like pop songs, like a lot of, now everybody plays Mr. Brightside, right? That's sort of
I'm saying the team themselves, they're the talent on the song.
But now, right, I hear what you're saying, but now I feel like teams have wised up and associate themselves with a pop song and sort of adopt it. You know, they bring in a song from the outside.
We have some athletes who have some pretty good rap careers, or like baseball with Jose Iglesias last year with OMG. So guys are still musical. We're just not getting that full team song.
Oh my God.
We got to bring this back. What if all of a sudden, just like in the middle of the season, the Bills just like dropped an anthem?
Start by Deion Dawkins featuring Josh Allen.
Exactly. Called Please Don't Blow It.
And Joey Bosa.
Gotta get Benny the Butcher in there somehow.
That's pro.
Yeah, get a whole Griselda crew in there.
I think,
Conway and
by the way,
Westside Gun.
Can we play the song again? Because good luck not having this stuck in your head for the rest of the day.
14 guys from the team recorded a song called We're the 49ers.
Very good. All right. Who's the king of the mountain this week? The 1972 undefeated Dolphins or the 1984 San Francisco 49ers? You can go vote at Maggie and Pearl on X to see who moves on. 888-710-4ISN. Coming up, we've got some injury news for you, up to date on these quarterbacks. Stay tuned.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining.
Sipping bourbon. Well, Drop Sam's got the flag in his hand, streaming Maggie and Perloff across this land. He's cracking a cold one before the sun, saying Columbus Day's the holiday when the party's just begun. So raise a glass to the Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria. Drop Sam shouts out with a loud hallelujah. that YouTube stream. Maggie and Perloff living the dream. But old Peter Bellotti, he ain't in sight. Skipped out on work like every holiday night. Stars and stripes hanging on the old porch rail. Sam's got a cooler like a Columbus Day sale. Neighbors shake their heads, but they all still grin, 'cause every holiday's a reason for Sam to dive in. So raise a glass to the Nina, the pizza, the Santa Maria. Uncle Sam shouts out with a loud hallelujah. He's singing along with that YouTube stream. Maggie and Perloff living the dream. But old Peter Bellotti, he ain't in sight. Skipped out on work every holiday. He called out again like don't count on me. Maggie's laughing, Perloff shaking his head. Sam's got 3 flags stuck out on the shed. Fireworks cracking on a Monday night, celebrating Columbus by neon light. So pour one out for the land of the free. Uncle Sam's the king of holiday TV. He's dancing around to that WFR jam with Maggie Perloff in his red, white, blue can. Somewhere Bellotti's still fast asleep. Columbus Day secrets that he'll never keep. Yeah. Of this holiday, even the people out never shows up anyway. Uncle Sam's got the flag in his hand, streaming Maggie and Perloff across this land. He's cracking a cold one before the sun, saying Columbus Day's the holiday where the party's just begun. So raise a glass to the Nina, the pizza, the Santa Maria. Uncle Sam's a Maria. Uncle Sam shouts salute with a loud hallelujah. He's singing along with that YouTube stream. Maggie and Perloff living the dream. But old Peter Bellotti nowhere to be. He called out again like don't count on me. Maggie's laughing, Perloff shaking his head. Sam's got 3 flags stuck out on the shed. Fireworks cracking on a Monday night, celebrating Columbus by neon light. So pour one out for the land of the free. Uncle Sam's the king of holiday TV. He's dancing around to that WFR jam with Maggie Perloff in his red, white, blue can. And somewhere Bellotti's still fast asleep. Columbus Day secrets that he'll never keep. Yeah, Sam's the spirit of this holiday, even if Pete Bellotti never shows up anyway. Well, Uncle Sam's got the flag in his hand.
A lot of people, I gained a lot of fame because there were a lot of guests on the Dan Patrick Show who thought I was Christopher Mintz-Plasse.
What kind of a stupid name is that, Fogel? What, are you trying to be an Irish R&B singer?
Oh, they let you pick any name you want when you get down there.
And you landed on McLovin.
Yeah, I was between that and Muhammad.
Why the would it be between that or Muhammad?
It's Maggie and Perloff.
Hey, Muhammad is the most commonly used name on earth. Read a book for once.
On the Infinity Sports Network.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff Show. Real talk here. They're definitely, when we formed the show, I left the Dan Patrick Show, came here, and Maggie and McLovin would have had a good sound.
Yeah.
And I know, Maggie, you probably wanted that.
I definitely wanted that.
Bill Simmons had just called out. He's like, why are the DP Show guys using a nickname from a movie that was 18 years ago still? And that was always in my mind. First of all,
well, we didn't have the IP also to put it on a show.
It was Dan's nickname. Like, I was like, that kind of feels weak in that sense. Also, Bill's like, that is so lame that they're still using the McLovin from Superbad. That always stuck in my mind.
Yeah, but you can't do anything. Bill Simmons has made his a career off of nostalgia and looking back at things. 30 for 30. He's got a whole thing called the Rewatchables. All he does is live in the past.
Why can't go off of Simmons? That or Muhammad?
Yeah, I don't know. It just
doesn't have anything to do with it.
It felt stupid. It also, like, the McLovin thing, like, no one in my real life ever called me that. And, like, it never even made sense to me so much. I just sort of went with it because, the reason that I was originally called McLovin because I was at SI and Dan probably couldn't remember my name. Just like in TV, you always get a nickname, right?
Yeah.
And Dan came from ESPN, so everybody had a nickname. Everybody was something. It just, it never really totally made sense. And I could never sell T-shirts or anything because it would always be the other McLovin. I would have loved to sell the license that has just one name on there, a T-shirt, but couldn't do it. So I really, I didn't care to continue it. Although, people are like, who's Perloff?
Yeah.
And then, like, you guys keep it alive, but I would never say, oh, I was a McLovin on the Dan Patrick Show.
And that's why we call you Muhammad now.
Muhammad Perloff.
See, I think
It's
it should.
a heck of a
We could have gone.
Perloff.
We could have gone Maggie and Pearl.
We thought about that.
Are we rebranding right now on the show?
Are we what?
I don't know.
All right, Daffy Duck over there.
Yeah.
But I think I came in Manny and EJ. I was a little strong. I'm like, I'm exactly like Earl the Pearl Monroe or Dwayne Pearl Washington.
Yeah.
I was playing up my basketball skills, and that was a turnoff to everyone around. Like, no, you ain't no Pearl.
You really got to be sick.
right.
To
You got to
that
have
nickname.
handle. Like, there's no tomorrow to be nicknamed Pearl.
You could probably be Pearl in like Fargo, North Dakota, but not in New York City, man.
True.
Yeah.
Wrong
But
city.
since my last name is Perloff, I have two younger brothers. Their nicknames are both, guess what? Pearl.
Yeah.
It's a very natural nickname for someone named Perloff, which is not a common name.
Well, so here's the thing, right? It's like the big dumper with Cal Raleigh. He didn't like it at first, but then when he accepted it, then he gained a lot of fame off of it. He's having the best season of his career and maybe anyone's career. Like he's being mentioned with Mickey Mantle and stuff like that. You were McLovin. Maybe you didn't understand it at the beginning or like it, but then it became a part of you. And I think it would have been fine to continue it on. You were almost just as McLovin as Christopher Mintz-Plasse was McLovin.
Well, let me ask you a question. Was Big Dumper the second Big Dumper? Was there a...
Maybe.
If,
Check the clubhouse.
Was there a dumper, a small dumper, perhaps?
If there was another Big Dumper,
Medium-sized
and then say there was a Big Dumper in the 70s,
A minuscule
and then...
one.
Okay, how about this, though?
That's the issue. Like,
no.
if my nickname was, I was the first Big Dumper, then we could be called Maggie and the Big Dumper.
Somebody trademarked that immediately. Down the hall, who do we have?
Boomer and Gio.
We got Boomer Esiason. Who else is Boomer? Chris Berman. Does anyone care that they're both Boomer? No, they're both talented.
What the hell was that all about?
They both have the nickname Boomer.
Yeah, but Boomer...
They
I mean, was
both
that
are
a-
called Boomer.
It's so different. There's very Boomer, like nobody even knows his real name. What is Boomer's real
I
name?
have no idea.
Our Boomer?
Our
Yeah.
Boomer?
Norman.
I had no clue until
Norman
just now.
Julius.
Are you serious?
I'm so serious.
Norman Julius, right?
Yeah.
Boomer, when you look
And
at a
thankfully he's not
high
here
school
today,
draft profile
so-
of Boomer Esiason, it says Boomer Esiason.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's like Chris Berman was totally different. Like Boomer, that's his name.
I'm saying two people can have the same nickname. It happens.
Right, but Boomer Esiason is not a nickname. That is Boomer
This is
not
going
his.
back to our nickname
yes, the
bracket.
nickname.
EJ, look me right in the eye. Is Boomer Esiason's nickname Boomer?
I don't think of it as his nickname.
It's his name.
What the hell was that all about?
We'll never agree on this.
Yeah, I don't like that there are two LTs.
I was going to say that too. That was one I was thinking about too.
That didn't work out great for yeah.
LaDainian?
Yeah, I mean, I felt like that was always a little bit. He was a little robbed of being the only LT.
Oh.
Yeah.
But I feel like fans of his generation, though, as crazy as it is, they do think of LT. They first think of LaDainian Tomlinson. I think like millennials, definitely.
Yeah.
Pearl, you could have
Why
kept
the
being the
would it be between that or Muhammad?
But if you don't want to, then we respect it. You move on. Different part of your life.
Well, actually, no. I don't think it would have worked out well for anybody. I think like DP Nation be like, that's so weak, dude. That's our nickname.
Oh, they love you, though.
And by the way, though, I'm very happy you kept Maggie Perloff because now I have a great fantasy football team name.
Oh, what's your name?
I always name my team after wherever I work. So now my team name is Maggie and Pearl Offense.
Ah, you're running the Pearl offense.
Yeah, we're running the Pearl Offense.
I had to change my team name to from Joe Shiesty's Batmobile to Joe Shiesty's Mangled Toe.
Yeah, because Joe Burrow never bought the Batmobile, right?
Yeah, that, and now he's got a messed up toe.
He didn't buy the Batmobile because the
Robbery,
people that broke into his house?
Yeah.
It's a good reason not to.
Yeah, he didn't pull the trigger. He was close, but he didn't pull the trigger on it.
He's not actually Batman. It's not like he can fight the assailants.
Can you steal the Batmobile?
Yes. People can steal anything.
What type of rookie question is that?
I'm saying in the movies, does the Batmobile get stolen?
His son steals a Batmobile. Yeah.
But isn't there one where like somebody gets in and they can't drive it because they're not Batman?
Yeah. Well, Penguin tries to drive it remotely.
What
Remember?
are we doing? Yeah,
Batman
I do remember that,
Returns.
actually.
Yeah, but that was a pretty funny scene.
That was a good scene.
But I think with Joe, I think he was just bummed by getting robbed. Not that he was afraid someone was going to take it from him. I think he was just kind of
like depressed.
Yeah, that's the way I interpreted his
what would cheer you up?
explanation.
The Batmobile.
I guess.
He doesn't want to be like Bruce Wayne and have your, son who's a jerk come and steal it and go for a joyride. Who would want that to happen?
I didn't know Bruce Wayne had a son.
Damian Wayne. He's the fourth Robin, Maggie.
Yeah,
the fourth
Bruce-
male Robin.
We call him Brucito in Latin America.
This is comic book though, right?
This is canon, yes, but
Yeah.
it's going to be the next Batman movie, so get ready.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Who's that
We've
Batman?
been warned.
That's we don't know yet, actually.
Oh, okay. Ooh.
You have a thought of who you want to play the next Batman?
Alan Rickman really wants to do it, but it seems like James Gunn doesn't want him.
How about
which is
Christopher
weird.
Mintz-Platz?
I was going to say, bring him back.
From reporter number 2 to Batman, Andrew Perloff.
Honestly, your IMDb is better than any of ours.
True.
Wait, you said Alan Rickman wants to play Batman?
Yes.
Like the guy from Love Actually, Alan Rickman? Like the old British actor?
Oh, no. Then what's his name? Adam, maybe? The blonde dude. Strong, big blonde dude. From the Reacher, I want to say.
From the Reacher?
Oh, the guy from the show Reacher?
Yeah.
You mean Thad Castle?
No.
Oh.
Are you guys speaking English? What is
Well, Alan Rickman's super famous.
Also,
you guys
Alan
know
Rickman
Alan Rickman
passed away in
Yeah, he's
2016.
dead.
That's a tough
Is it
guess.
his son?
No, there's a 42-year-old man named Alan Rickman. I'm not going crazy. Yeah, Alan Rickman.
That's Thad Castle.
Rick's son. Sorry, Rick's son.
That is Thad Castle from Blue Mountain State.
Oh, okay, my bad.
You don't watch Blue Mountain State?
Oh.
Oh.
But I can't like Dave Matthews.
People love his version of Reacher.
Yeah, no, supposedly he's sick. I would be cool, Alan Rick's son. Sorry, I said Rickman. That's probably what I was wrong.
You were thinking Alan Rickman. It was probably
Right,
he's a
the names,
famous
yeah.
actor. Harry Potter? No.
Yeah, Harry
Yeah, he was
Potter.
Snape.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
It's literally one word, one letter difference in their names.
Alan Richson.
Apologies to America.
What about like Chalamet or something? Or
Oh, he's
No,
too
so
small.
this
or
Batman,
Austin
weak.
Butler?
Too
this
weak.
Batman has
Oh.
to be older because he has a son. So he can't be like 25. He has to be like
All right, let's go Liam
40
Neeson.
or 35 or something.
I can't believe I'm continuing. But aren't they doing another Robert Pattinson movie?
They're doing that too, but that's going to be
But
a
there's
different
two
universe.
different Oh my
There
God.
will be two different Batmans, yes. Get with it, people.
When's the animated one coming out with Adam Scott, whatever his name was?
Oh, that came, I think it just came out. I wanna
Oh.
say. Oh,
So
no,
there's
they're
three?
making that one. A Lego Batman.
They're making a Lego
Oh,
Batman?
with Will
I just
Arnett.
pulled that
They've
out of my
already-
derriere.
they've already had that.
They've already had a Lego Batman.
Yeah,
it was
there's
amazing.
more than
Right.
one.
But then there's another movie, and they just made a game, I think.
What is going on here?
You can never have enough Batman.
I guess
I think
not.
you can.
I think yesterday was Batman Day, I believe.
Where?
Every day's Batman Day.
My
Only in
world.
Gotham
my
City,
world,
obviously.
definitely.
All right, Bogusch, take it away.
Well, Maggie, she might be your new hero. Model and Dancing with the Stars alum Brooks Nader
Yep.
might have been hanging out with Carlos Alcaraz and Yannick Sinner right up until the two men met in the U.S. Open final a few weekends ago. Brooks was asked about the relationships last night on Bravo's Watch What Happens Live.
I would just say a lady never kisses and tells, especially twice. That's just not nice.
There was some laughing, some applause. Brooks lost her train of thought, so Andy Cohen jumped in.
The question was, did the fellas know that you were dating both of them? Or were you dating both of them? Is that true?
I mean, dating is such a loose term, you know, these days.
Right.
It's just, I don't know.
Well, you know what?
By the way, my only thing is, guys do it all the time.
Yes,
So why
they
can't
do.
I do it? I
Well,
don't get
yes.
it. I don't get it. They do it all the time.
That's a standing
What's
ovation
wrong with you people?
from
Yay,
Andy
feminism.
Cohen, Mark Ronson, and the entire studio audience. If you want to join in, which actually that might have happened about 100 feet from us last night.
The view is like over here to the left, and Watch What Happens Live is to the right. So she said a woman, a lady never kisses and tells, or twice.
Yeah.
She just confirmed it right there.
She kind of did.
Yeah. Wait, the View is on our block?
Yeah.
Well, the new ABC building is right outside our door.
It's on Spring Street because I was over there the other day and all these people were waiting outside. And I was like, what are you guys waiting for? And they're like, we just saw the View.
Yeah, the Tamron Hall people, they be psyched to get in there. They be lining up like I feel like all my aunties be out there.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, see you next reunion.
Perloff has consumed a lot of shocking news over the last 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, I know.
From
Batman
to this.
The View. Do you want to go be in the studio audience of The View? Put hot pokers in my eyes.
Don't make me answer that question.
Yeah.
I'm also
Please
having
that one.
deja vu of referencing the fact that this ABC building was now nearby and him having that same reaction as if he noticed the crowds.
I didn't even know The View was ABC, to be honest. No, I mean, like, it's daytime programming. I wasn't sure.
It could be on any network. To be
That's
honest.
true.
And there's also like 5 different the same show.
Morning variety
people
shows.
Have taken that show and just done the same thing.
Yeah, all the, Kelly Clarkson, Drew Barrymore. I'm not really sure what networks those are on.
Well, those are syndicated. I think The View actually belongs to ABC.
That's what I kind of thought. I thought it was like Kelly Clarkson. Got it.
It was a good Wednesday off the field
we got that cleared up.
for the Washington Commanders. The D.C. Council giving the team final approval for its multi-billion-dollar plan for a new stadium at the RFK Stadium site. There apparently were some last-minute negotiations that might have jeopardized this vote, but it ends well for the club.
The Commanders.
I think we talked about this just yesterday. The Dodgers shifting Shohei Ohtani to the bullpen for the postseason. Manager Dave Roberts said yesterday, discussions have been had, but this would be a drastic change for Ohtani, the pitcher.
He's a very methodical, disciplined, routine-driven person. So, the pen is a complete opposite, right? So you potentially could be taking on risk. And we've come this far, certainly, with the kid gloves and managing them. So I just don't know how it could play out. But it's something we're all talking about kind of to make it work.
Ohtani was just a hitter last night, homer number 51 in a 5-0 win over the Phillies. The Dodgers avoiding a 3-game sweep. Their NL West lead remains 2 games since the Padres beat the Mets 7-4 behind a Manny Machado grand slam. Those Mets still a game and a half ahead of Arizona for the last wildcard spot. The Giants and Reds move up to 2 games behind them.
Padres on the loose. Let's go, Goose.
By the way, just a programming note, Batman Day is Saturday. So wear your best Batman gear and celebrate as you choose.
I certainly will not.
You are not doing the Batman community service this morning. You were wrong about Rickman Rickson, and now you got Batman Day wrong. You should make sure your club card still scans correctly.
Rickman and Rickson is not crazy. That's one word. They're both actors.
Also,
that's not
one's
that bad.
dead.
The other one is Thad Castle,
No,
man.
but it's just I mixed up the name, not the person. In my head, I was thinking about the big, strong, blonde guy from Reacher.
If you really are celebrating Batman Day, where are you going? You're putting on a cape and doing what?
Oh, you put on a T-shirt. Yeah, you put on a T-shirt probably and watch a movie. Watch one of the great Batman movies out there. There's a million of them.
Thrilling.
Go to 66. Go to The Dark Knight.
Go to 6-7.
Batman Returns. Batman 92.
To all who celebrate, we wish you a good Batman
Watch
Day.
Batman animated series. Watch Batman Beyond. There's plenty of things you can do.
Do we get tomorrow off because of this? No?
Should.
Okay.
There's like 37 movies out right now for Batman, so...
We got to get to this Ohtani thing.
We just got to break this conversation any way possible. I don't care.
I got us.
We can talk about any sports topic.
Let's get to Ohtani because this one has a lot of interesting details about how the Dodgers could potentially use him in the postseason. Very, very cool stuff. We'll do that next.
Why the would it be between that or Muhammad?
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Get to Shohei Ohtani in just a moment because Dave Roberts was talking yesterday about how they could possibly use Ohtani coming out of the bullpen because the Dodgers have 6 starting pitchers in the rotation right now. And to put Ohtani in the outfield could actually keep him, keep his bat in the lineup while also trying to have him come out of the bullpen. So there's a lot of machinations of that. But first, Stan is in Westport, Connecticut. I see here, Stan, you have a Kansas City Chiefs conspiracy theory. I assume this has nothing to do with Taylor Swift, but what do you have?
Well, it might have to. But before we get there, I'm now convinced that Maggie Perloff is the only person in the world who can solve the Middle East conflict.
We'll get our best guy on it. Yeah.
You got to get with it. Anyway, here's the thing. I was at the Jets-KC game in 2023, which also happened to be a Sunday night game. And the Jets outplayed the Chiefs pretty respectably.
Yep, I remember that. Zach Wilson. Actually. Yep.
Yeah, he did a great job. He definitely outplayed Mahomes. Mahomes was off. And in the fourth quarter, with about 4 minutes left, there was a 3rd and 20 after they made a 3rd and 22. And, the ref waited until the interception was like 10, 15 yards up the field on the return and threw a flag for holding, which was a bogus call on the replay. It was ridiculous. So the point is, if the Giants would go back and study that tape in detail, they might, figure out a way to beat the Chiefs because it's ostensibly a similar team as it was then. But the other piece is there's a lot of people, and it's, not necessarily me, but the conspiracy theory is the league and the networks, et cetera, the powers that be, will just not allow Kansas City to be an 0-3 team, and therefore the Giants have no chance, even if, like the Jets, they outplay KC. So,
Stan, that's a heck of a conspiracy. Thank you for bringing it to our attention. It's kind of a loser's lament from the Giants side. We have no chance because the league's against us.
I totally disagree. The conspiracy, by definition, means that something is hidden. Everyone knows the officials aren't Team KC. That's been incredibly well documented. Like half of if you look at the stripes, there's a red jersey underneath. You can see the red.
Oh gosh.
Yeah,
bro.
To say that the Chiefs help, the officials help Patrick Mahomes does not fall into conspiracy theory. Conspiracy theory is the Patriots bugged the Broncos locker room, not that, we all know Patrick Mahomes gets the calls.
Was this the Warren Commission, right? That was investigating JFK's assassination?
Yeah, by the way, it's so funny. Remember all the hatred towards the Chiefs and all the disgust at the way Patrick Mahomes gets calls. That disappeared because they got killed in the Super Bowl. Like, EJ still holds on to it. But generally, what Stan's saying, I think a lot of people have believed over the last 4 years.
Yeah, but I think there's a more reasonable explanation from this. We don't need a magic bullet on this one. It's the fact that the Chiefs have always been playing these home games. And I just think in general, throughout the history of our life, home teams get calls. Now, they try to, officiate this out with replay and eye in the sky and the people back in New York or whatever. But home teams get calls, and the Chiefs have enjoyed this home field advantage through the playoffs most often than not. So isn't it more like that? You really think that this is a one-score game in the fourth quarter, we're going to get some egregious call that helps Kansas City?
I don't think it's intentional, but Patrick Mahomes has always gotten the calls. We don't even have to debate that.
I know people say the same thing about Josh Allen always gets the calls.
Not like Patrick Mahomes. Do they always say that about Josh? Patrick Mahomes, that was travel back in time a year ago, and this was not a hot take to say Mahomes gets a lot of calls.
Definitely not. But that the league is not going to allow Kansas City to be 0-3.
I think Stan was saying that a little tongue-in-cheek.
I don't know.
But there's been a lot of people who think maybe because Taylor's there now that the Chiefs get a little nudge. I don't know about that. Maybe you're right. Maybe it's home games. But if there is a big call that helps out Patrick Mahomes, the internet's going to go crazy saying, "Oh, there they go again."
You're right. 888-710-4ISN. Okay, Ohtani. So this one is pretty interesting. We saw Ohtani Pearl come out of the bullpen famously in the World Baseball Classic. He struck out his then teammate Mike Trout, and Japan won the entire tournament. Really dramatic moment, really amazing moment, quite frankly, for baseball. But the way it works now is that Ohtani can still stay in the game as a DH even after he's a starting pitcher. But that could go away if he leaves the game and then goes to the bullpen. So the baseball bylaws say he can play in the outfield and then go pitch in relief. Or you could avoid all of this and he could be the closer. So you could, in theory, I guess if the game goes to extra innings, then you're kind of screwed. You don't have his bat in the lineup, but you could have him just come in to close games for you and then not worry about it.
Well, it's kind of weird, though, because don't you need some experience as a closer to be a closer?
Well, he has done it a little bit. I mentioned the World Baseball Classic. Okay. That was him closing. And he has played a few games in the outfield for the Angels. But ever since he's gone through a lot of different injury stuff, it's been mostly upper body. But he hasn't played the outfield since the Angels, obviously.
Yeah, I saw it was 6 games in the outfield.
Something
that wasn't even a real thing. It's cool. You're right. It's very cool. It could be very interesting. I don't know. I have trouble seeing that really affecting the total outcome of the playoffs. Is it really is he going to come in the bullpen and be such a big factor for the Dodgers?
Well, they need bullpen help. That's the crazy thing about the Dodgers right now. Their starting rotation goes 6 deep and everyone's been great. for the most part. But the bullpen definitely needs some help. Stop if you've heard that before with the Dodgers. So to me, I think what would make the most sense, as opposed to disrupting Ohtani, and last segment, Andrew Bogusch played a clip from Dave Roberts about how Ohtani's so much about his routines and all that. Why not just keep him in the rotation for the playoffs and then move one of your other guys to the bullpen? I'm not saying it has to be Clayton Kershaw. I'm just saying one of your other dudes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, with that many starters, you don't need him to just have him hit. Because remember last year he was hurt for the World Series, didn't really do anything. They still won.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's the thing.
I don't know.
Might not be as easy this time around.
I'm still to the point where I just still think they should just hit him. I know. And he had a no-hitter going through 5 innings.
Yeah.
Like, clearly, like, to me, his bat is what's going to win, not his pitching.
You have this weapon. You've got to use it if you're the Dodgers. You have to.
They won easily last year without him pitching.
That's because the Yankees can't field to save their life.
Still can't.
That's true. Maggie Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break.
With Maggie and Perloff across this land, he's cracking a cold one before the sun, saying Columbus Day's the holiday when the party's just begun. So raise a glass to the Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria. Trumpet fans shouts out with a loud hallelujah. Sun ain't up, but the screen sure is. Christian Field starts his day like this. Maggie and Perloff live on YouTube. He swears that many sending in clues.
Trouble Sam took the mic in sequence, and Shame said, I'll win this contest, you'll remember my name. But the teleprompter froze, he pulled out a cheat sheet, lip sync and turn back time with 2 left feet. Oh, the crowd, they booed, the DJ cried, he'd even Cher herself would have run to hide. If he could cheat in karaoke, he'd be the champ, but it's all hokey. With a glass of gin and a tambourine, he's the sloppiest diva you've ever seen. Meanwhile, at the station, the chaos goes on. Belotti's working, but he's still not gone. The phones are ringing, the bosses scream, but Pete's still ghosting like it's part of the
Well, the match was set, the crowd poured in. Daly versus Rube, and we all smelled the wind. The band was tuned up, the mics were on, but old Peter Bellotti was nowhere to be found. We checked the lot twice. No car, no coffee, no bag of ice. Just an empty chair where he ought to be, while Daly served aces on live TV. Light never clocked in, not then, not now. While Daly was winning and the crowd yelled, wow! Out in Colorado, skies painted blue. Dilly laced up, got something to prove. Ryan Rube was talking that big-time game, but left that court with nothing but shame. 6'2", 6'3", it was quick, it was clean. Daly played like he was born on that green. Now he's sitting on top of that local chart, #1 with the champion's heart. Yeah, so raise up a toast, give that man his due. Daly's the king, and the serve was true. He crushed that match like a back row song and left Rube wondering. Well, down in the Rockies where the air runs thin, a showdown was brewing and the stakes ran big. Ryan Rube walked tall with a confident grin, but Daly showed up with a mean backspin. He came out swinging with a fire in his soul. 4 hands like thunder, had one simple goal: to take that crown, to claim his run. And when the dust cleared, he was #1. Yeah, now Rackets, raise up your glass to the viewer named Daly, who make it last. 6-2-6-3, yeah, he made it look.
Maggie and Perloff on the airwaves riding high. And in the chat, that's Donald Rose, partner. Countdown starts now.
Donald Rose got that digital spunk. Cowboy boots on, sipping Red Bull in a bunk. Tecmo dreams back in 94, but the roommate's flankies ran up the score. Daly said, you got game, my man. Been watched on fumble like a backup plan. Now he rides with M&P pride. Infinity Sports, he's the king of the ride. Down, cowboy. Boots clap loud with the zips on fire. Down, cowboy. That sports talk spark never tires. Big friendly duck and cap, let's text. Dolan's in the chat like who's up next. Boot it up.
$15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Takes a lot to steal headlines away from the Dallas Cowboys, but that's exactly what the Chicago Bears have done in Week 3. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Dallas traveling to Chicago, Pearl, but the story really is just what's going on with Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams, and the Bears. They're 0-2. And the coach is not shying away from calling out the entire team, the effort, not only against the Lions, but in their practice. And, you know, whether this is fair or not, everyone's going to go to Caleb to say, like, to be the litmus test of, is this message getting through? And the defense, for sure. But Caleb is the face of the team. So he's the one who may be tasked with kind of carrying out Ben Johnson's marching orders of holding players accountable. And I don't know if he's the right guy to do that.
But I still don't get this. Why is it on Caleb to hold the defense accountable?
I think it's on Caleb and the quarterback everywhere to execute the message of the coach. And the coach is saying right now, we are not giving max effort.
Right.
And
they just let up 52 points. Like,
it sucks.
That is not a situation where, in my mind, like, the quarterback has limited capacity to fix the defense. Like, I don't think on all teams they even interact that much.
It's not about fixing it. It's about if guys aren't practicing right and calling people out. And it's complimentary football. What do they always say? You know, how do you help your defense? By staying on the field, by sustaining drives. And, you know, I would say the Bears probably had 2 good drives against Detroit. 2. And so some of that is on Caleb.
Well, yeah, but that's not an effort thing. That's just like they're not great. But I don't know. I feel like...
So you think the effort is only on the defense? That's the only... So why doesn't he just call out the defense and say, our defense is not good enough?
Well, like Ben Johnson did get specific. He said receivers aren't putting out effort on plays where they're not the targets. That's very clear. I don't know exactly who that is. I'm going to imagine that it might be some of the younger players on the roster. So, because obviously Roman Dunze looked amazing last week. Yeah, no, you're right. It's on both sides. But I don't know if this is why Ben Johnson is doing this. Like, he's like, Caleb's too young. He's not going to be able to do this. I'm going to step in and be the Bill Parcells, like, intense guy. Like that. I think that's a style. I think they're different teams. Every team is built differently. Sometimes the coach wants to take all the oxygen. Rex Ryan was like that with the Jets. Like, you never heard from Mark Sanchez. It was all Rex Ryan.
Right.
Rex Ryan is like, I'm going to do all the talking, so everyone leaves my players alone.
Let's go eat a damn snack.
Ben Johnson's been trying to take most of the media heat to keep it off of Caleb. I think that's why he's doing it.
Yeah, I mean, but I think it's going to be hard to hide if you're Caleb, you know?
Yeah.
And Mark Sanchez, you know, was a little bit different because they weren't really asking him to do anything.
Less hype.
Yeah. Well, that and, you know, they were handing the ball off. They had Hall of Famers on their offensive line. Their defense was literally number 1 in the league. Now we're just talking about that Jets team. But, you know, this Bears team is not that way. Caleb is, you know, was anointed a generational talent, number 1 overall pick, clear Heisman Trophy winner, has all the raw talent in the world. You see the arm talent, scrambling ability. He does make some wow throws. And he's been critical of Caleb, too. See, that's the thing. It's like one thing if you're a coach and you want to bring all the heat on yourself. Well, he's not doing that. He's calling out his players. To me, this is a deflection. He said, and we can play some sound for you, he says if there's not effort, that reflects on me. But it almost just feels like you kind of have to say that, right? You're the coach. And he's saying, like, Caleb is not good enough either. You know, he's been complimentary about Caleb, yes, but he's also been more critical about a starting quarterback and a franchise quarterback than most coaches are ever.
Yeah, I mean, but let me ask you a question. Like, he inherited a team that obviously is sort of structurally bad because they were bad last year. They've made a lot of bad draft picks. None of these draft picks are working out. So he did inherit like the wrong roster. Now, he had limited choices this offseason. I'm not sure what the better option was. That maybe his only crime is picking the wrong team.
Possibly, but I think that's also we're seeing, you know, now that the team really still is very flawed. But
Just
they had
like last year,
a
right?
Preseason 8.5 win total. There was a lot of people who said Ben Johnson is actually kind of ahead of the curve because he's taking over a team that actually people thought was further along. He's
spent a lot of money.
Yeah, not taking over the Saints or something like that, a team that we think is in like a full, I don't say rebuild, but has zero expectations. So let's hear a little from Ben Johnson. Can we, Manny? This is him talking, responding to a question. I'll hear cut 17. Responding to a question about the team's practice habits. This is yesterday, and says they're not good enough.
Are there guys that need to practice better too?
I think our practice habits are yet to reflect the championship caliber team.
Yeah, and said that on Sunday against the Lions, there was just not max effort. So he's now put it out there, and I'm just wondering what happens if the team doesn't respond. You know, what if you go out and it's Dallas is a very slight favorite, 1.5 points on the road. What if the Bears lay another egg? I mean, I don't think the Cowboys are not as talented as the Lions, but, you know, if it's bad or if the team's not responding to the message, then it doesn't matter who they're playing. They could lose to anybody.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure exactly what you get with what if. Like, yeah, it's problematic. Like, these guys kind of stink right now.
Do you think that Ben Johnson is going to be Teflon through this? Right? Like, you're not placing any blame at his feet, even though he has not been perfect either in his first 2 head coaching games. You know, at some point, the players will take the blame, but the coaches also, do you think he's absolved of blame if they don't play well?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you look at, say they go to 0-3, which is very likely, very possible at least. Yeah, they're going to look like, same old Bears. I don't think Ben Johnson's going to wear this. I think that C on the helmet. Like, it can't be an accident that we've gone 107 years now and nobody's get 4,000 yards as a quarterback.
I know.
There's something wrong with the franchise. I think everyone's going to say that.
But wasn't this his one job? Like, I fought back against you when you were like, it only matters how Caleb looks this year. I'm like, really? It doesn't matter if they win any games? Well, so far, neither is really up to par.
Well, it's interesting. We're 2 weeks into this experiment.
Yeah.
I think you could look at it and say, Caleb got a little better in week 2. If he gets a little better in week 3 and a little better in week 4 and a little better in week 5 and say they're 2-3, that's fine. I'm totally fine with that. You and I view this team differently. Like, it's all about kind of next year because he hasn't gotten his guys in there. You know, he really, like, it's like Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah.
With the Chargers, he needed a year or 2 to get his guys in there. Like,
but
he inherited a lot of players that he didn't know, and he didn't know their attitude. So I think Ben Johnson's going to have to weed out some of the slackers.
Yeah, it's a fair point, but think of what the difference is with that Jim Harbaugh example, because it's a good example.
Yeah.
Jim got to come in with his hand-picked GM. That guy, Joe Ortiz,
Yeah.
that's Jim Harbaugh's guy. You know, this is Ryan Poles, who was there before Ben Johnson, and this is the whole thing with the Bears. I know that drives their fans absolutely up the wall, which is the coach and the GM are always on different timelines.
Well, right, and that might happen again because I got to tell you, Ryan Poles, it seems like in public opinion, is on thin ice.
And then we had a caller earlier who called us from Chicago who said the real problem is actually the ownership group and the McCaskies because they're the ones doing the hiring, and they don't know jack about football, and they're hiring the wrong people over and over again.
He's also organizing a protest.
Yes.
To fire Ryan Poles.
Yeah.
And he said a peaceful protest, and I'm glad he said that because we need to make sure we get that in.
Peaceful Poles protest. Love alliteration.
Triple P's, baby.
Pat's a primetime player.
Yeah, Ryan Poles is not a... by the way, you said it like I think Ryan Poles, the GM, is taking way more heat right now than Ben Johnson. At least in the different NFL analysts I follow, because there was this expose that made Poles look terrible.
Yeah.
The expose that showed that Caleb Williams had a lot of issues, also made Ryan Poles look awful.
No, it did
The
not
Ty Dunn
spare.
piece.
Yeah, Ty Dunn, which obviously the Caleb stuff got the most attention. Does Caleb have dyslexia and other things that were alleged in the piece and things like that. Ryan Poles also did not look good because essentially what Ty revealed, at least from his sources, was that the front office never even did any due diligence to see if Jayden Daniels would even be a possibility with the number 1 overall pick. And by the way, they might have been able to even trade down at some point and still get they did not even do any real scouting, according to people who talked to Ty, and they just kind of ran with, Caleb's, the generational talent, so let's not even look at the tape.
And that was damning because I know we think, well, who else would have not passed on Caleb Williams, but this guy always reminds folks that he did this. Remember Charlie Casserly? Everyone said, it's got to be Reggie Bush, or if it's not Reggie Bush, then you got to see the hometown guy in Vince Young. And he did due diligence and said, you know what? I think it should be Mario Williams. And he was 100% right. Reggie Bush was our number 1 pick caliber player, and Vince Young flamed out. And Mario Williams was a Pro Bowler. You still got to do that due diligence and actually have confidence in your evaluation. You shouldn't be trying to recruit a guy to come to your place. That was ridiculous, and it does make him look bad.
There's also a version of that story where Reggie Bush asked for too much money, and they said Mario's going to take 30% less, and the McNairs are like, okay, take that guy. That's a version out there, by the way.
Casserly will not go with that version. But
you got to know a deal when you see it, bro.
Yeah, because they used to negotiate with they negotiated with Bush and Williams simultaneously. So I'm not sure that's exactly how that went down. But
if only Mario Williams had held that same great impact when he eventually got to Buffalo. Go, sorry.
Yeah, the Drake May stuff is funny that they tried to make Poles basically tried to make Drake May look bad, and apparently he just did no work on Jayden Daniels.
I mean, it's funny because I got to be honest, it was you the whole time who was saying you take Jayden Daniels number 1.
Yeah, you know who I heard that from first? Dusty Dvorak does college football games on ESPN. He's really good.
Yep.
Yeah, he doesn't get any attention. And during it was a LSU game against a lesser opponent, and he's like, I don't know how on earth people think Caleb Williams is a better pro prospect than Jayden Daniels. This guy is the full package, and you could see it at LSU. Now, the only issue is Jayden Daniels might be injury prone. He's very skinny. So I think Caleb was like a solid prospect. I think it's just the size of Caleb and the arm. I get why the Bears took him. I mean, it's not like a stretch. None of us were like, whoa, why are you taking this guy?
That is true. And to bring it to the present last few minutes here, Jayden Daniels, so he did not practice yesterday, dealing with a knee issue. Dan Quinn says we'll know more on Friday. They're playing the Las Vegas Raiders, who we'll get to in a moment because we got some stuff from the Raiders side of things. But this is a dicey one here of how do you handle Jayden Daniels, because you obviously don't want to put him out there compromised against Max Crosby and have him get hurt even worse, Pearl. But at 1-1, I know it's not a division, it's not even a conference game, but can you afford to potentially, put yourself behind the 8 ball with what should be a winnable game against the Raiders?
Yeah, I think Mariota looked great in 2 games last year. I would go with Mariota. He's a very experienced backup quarterback in the NFL. He's been okay in a lot of different situations. He's a B- or whatever. He's what you want out of the backup. I think you put him in. I think they're still favorites over the Raiders.
Well, they're 3.5-point favorites now, even with Daniels' status up in the air. But here's the one thing: the Washington offense. Maybe the Green Bay Packers defense is just that freaking awesome, and that's possible. But you said it yourself. It looks like Terry McLaurin. Clearly, we know he didn't have an offseason because he was holding out and in for a better contract. Right. They let Brian Robinson go, and they got Bill Krosky Merritt, thank you. And the offense just looks not like it did last year.
No,
again, that could just be the Packers, but
but also you're right though. Terry McLaurin hasn't produced at all. Yeah, it could be, but I'm not sure. Is Mariota going to be that much worse with this offense than Jayden Daniels? See, to me, he's just a sort of a tick down.
I think so.
Really, I think he's going to have a good game if he plays. I watched that Cowboys game last year, and it was a revelation. I'm like, oh my god, he should be starting in this NFL. I think he's good enough actually to be a very low end starter. So the Raiders are coming cross country. He should be able to beat them, right?
You think 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. So we're covering a lot of ground here. We got the Bears and Ben Johnson, their head coach, calling out the team for lack of effort, not only against the Lions, but the practice habits as well. And is Caleb Williams the guy to help deliver that message in the locker room, or will calling out your team publicly end up reflecting poorly on the head coach? And we're talking about Jayden Daniels' knee, where he's day-to-day. Their opponent this week is the Raiders. You know, we have some sound from Ashton Jeanty. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. Ashton Jeanty, the rookie running back from Boise State, already calling out the offense, Pearl, and Chip Kelly will tell you what he said next.
All right, Maggie. It's an exciting day because not only can you talk about football, there's other sports going on. We got WNBA, we got a lot of baseball, and the best place to get into all those sports is Prize Picks. Every day, you can make choices. You can have a good take and get paid for it. The app is so simple to use, Prize Picks. Just pick 2 or more players across any sport, pick more or less on their projection, and if you're right, you can win big. And you know who's on there today.
Of course.
You know who's on there today.
Josh Allen and Jimbo.
Not only you have Josh Allen, I know you're actually going to look at Tua as well and go under, baby.
Yeah, so here we go. Prize Picks for tonight. And just a little programming note, I'm on a 2-day winning streak, so I feel like I basically have everything on the line tonight. Tua, more or less on 236.5 passing yards. Now, I'm hoping that's going to be less. And then why not pair that with a little Jackson Merrill, even though they're playing my Mets? 1.5 hits, runs, RBI. And you know what? Maybe I'll fade a little Jackson Merrill. And maybe that will be my key to a 3-day winning streak.
I mean, I don't know, Maggie. I feel like you're picking with your heart a lot here, but go ahead.
Served me so far. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code M&P. Get $50 bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play $5. That's code M&P on Prize Picks to get $50 bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play $5. Win or lose, you get $50 bonus credit in lineups just for playing. Guaranteed. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Mand P.
You're in a 4-minute break. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
All right, this portion of the show is sponsored by the all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid. Learn how it's so much more than just another SUV at HyundaiUSA.com. You know, it's a great time to be alive, Maggie. We are in what was supposed to be a running back renaissance. Last year, Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley torched the league near 2,000 yards, over 2,000 for Saquon. So we were all excited when Ashton Jeanty arrived in Vegas, and he was going to be the next one. Not so much so far.
Well, it looks like the Raiders have a lot more holes than maybe even Tom Brady could have imagined. So taking a running back that high now feels like a luxury item.
Yeah.
So, EJ, we've got the Ashton Jeanty sound, Manny. Okay, great. So I don't know what the question was. Do we have the question with it or just the response? Okay, here's the whole thing. Jeanty yesterday with the media.
He's also said, and Gino has said, we gotta get the running game going. We gotta feed Ashton a little bit more. Do you like that? You're ready to take on a heavy load and going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you draft a guy like me to not give me, carries and touches, and I'm ready for the responsibility, and like I said, it's gonna start with me and in the run game, and I gotta continue to get better.
Okay, more from Jeanty. Let's hear it.
There's a learning curve to the NFL for every single rookie that comes in. I mean, I think it's really rare that a guy comes in and just flat out balling off the rip. So I'm not, feeling no type of way towards it. I just, like I said, I need to get better, and the big time performances that everybody might be expecting. I mean, those will come, but it's just about consistency.
Okay, so right now for Jeanty, Pearl, 2 games, 30 attempts, 81 yards, 1 touchdown.
That is not good, especially when there are other rookie running backs who were not drafted high who look much better. I think we're back to don't draft a running back high.
But do you believe that he actually deserves more carries? Like this the question was kind of leading, right? What is he going to say? No, don't give me the ball. But so the question, to be fair to Jeanty, was a little leading. But if he's saying like, you don't draft someone this high not to feed me, basically, do you think he's earned that through 2 games?
Well, yeah, I do think I think he's saying the right thing there, because like you do want to have him be a high volume guy. But if you looked at the flow of that game, the opportunities were not there to establish the run. I'm not exactly sure why, because it wasn't like the Chargers were holding the ball that long, but like it got to the point they were down. Like they couldn't just hand it to Ashton Jeanty and have him gain 2 yards. They had to start throwing the ball. So it was situational to me. It wasn't like, I'm sure they want to give it to Jeanty, but you need a lead to do that.
Yeah, I mean, people have talked, a little bit about his size and about how, the only person who's really had a lot of success, or I think it was made Pro Bowls at 5'8", was Maurice Jones-Drew, right? Like, you have very little data for someone who is, unless the running backs aren't, we know they're the body type, but who are generally that small. Can I actually defend him on this one or defend the entire Raiders? I think the Chargers defense might just be dynamite. You know, it's possible the Chargers defense is just absolutely sick because we saw the first game of the season when the Raiders went to New England and played the Patriots, and it was Geno with the explosive plays. They didn't score a lot of points. The red zone's still an issue. But Geno with the explosive plays, and yeah, they weren't getting the run game going, but like the offense, no one thought there was something wrong. Then they played the Chargers, and it's like, oh gosh, you guys have scored 9 points and no touchdowns. Is it possible the Chargers defense is just that stout?
I mean, the numbers for Genty don't bear that out. It was 19 carries for 38 yards in week 1, and then 11 carries for 43 yards against the Chargers. So Genty was not getting anywhere against New England. I mean, honestly, at least he broke like a couple of little ones against the Chargers. He got nothing against the Raiders. I'm sorry, against the Patriots. Yeah, but then they were trailing and they couldn't. I think they want to lean on Genty. No, I think ideally you carry 20 carries a game. Like, is that what you want? I don't think it has anything to do with size. I think it's game flow. I mean, Saquon's not big. He's got big legs.
Yeah.
How tall is Saquon Barkley? 5'11"?
5'10", 5'11".
5'10".
Yeah, but Genty's 5'8".
Yeah, but I think Genty can handle it. I just think they need to be in the game. Like the Chargers scored on their first 2 drives. That's the worst thing for a running back. And he's also my fantasy running back, so I think they need to hand him the ball a lot more.
All right, there we go.
Yeah,
That's
found it.
5 minutes to get to the real bottom.
But like to establish a run game, you need to have a lot of carries. So you might have to take a lot of like 1 yard and 2 yarders and eventually wear down on the opponent. You're right. The Chargers are a good defense and they're trailing. So what are you supposed to do? I get Commanders run defense. I don't really know how they stack up. I think they've been pretty good, right?
Last year, the Chargers had the number 1 ranked scoring defense or the points allowed, but their rushing defense actually was like kind of average. I think
the Chargers or the Commanders?
The Chargers.
Got it.
Yeah.
Go Chargers, go!
They were just 14th in rushing yards. And I don't even remember that Monday night game when Lamar and Derrick Henry went crazy and kind of exposed them a little bit mid-season. I don't know if this is a great Chargers defense thing. It could be a Genty thing. They don't give up points, but usually they give you yards on the ground. And
but you say Genty, it could be like a combo offensive line running back.
Yeah, it could be a lot.
Yeah,
it could be a Raiders thing. It could be a Raiders thing. Genty, line, play calling. I put all of it in the stew and stir it up, and then you got that crappy performance you got on Monday.
Yeah, well, maybe Tom Brady, you're sitting there with a headset. Why don't you say something?
But I mean,
how about that?
Chime in.
Week 1 was even worse for Genty. I'm telling you, he couldn't get through to the next level at all on any given play. Also, apparently, he can't pick up the blitz that well, which makes sense. He's tiny.
Exactly. Let's get to Andrew Bogusch. You worried about Ashton Genty? 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. He said, listen, you draft me this high, then, I can handle the workload. What do you got, Bogusch?
Well, I hate to make the nation pick sides and divide our one great country, but it's time to do just that because we've got Pat Beverly against adopted New Yorker Trey Young.
Oh, yeah, I'm out.
The two NBAers have been bickering. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it started with Pat Bev complaining about the All-Star game, so Trey told him to let the actual All-Stars handle it, which led to Pat Bev going off on Young, saying none of the Hawks like him. So, of course, Trey recorded and posted a multi-minute video response that included this.
Where was your real impact in winning? I know you were labeled as a tough defender, a great defender, and the accolades say that you were. But I promise you, anytime you was on the court with me, I was never scared of you. I was never scared of Patty Bev. I promise you. And as you can tell, Patty don't scare me now.
As I do this video in the safety of my house. Today's poll
that
question.
That went on for minutes and minutes?
Oh, the whole video is 12 minutes long.
Oh, my heavens.
But I don't think all of it is about Pat Bev. There's about a 4-minute chunk that it's directly about Pat Bev. So it brings us to today's poll question. Are there any winners in this nonsense?
I just want to remind people the Gettysburg Address was 2 minutes. You don't need 12 minutes to get your point across.
And what I can't figure out, the clip that I watched was very much edited. I don't know if it was
the editing on this is insane.
But is it his editing or is it editing for people who are shortening it for consumption, after the fact?
I think it's his. I'm pretty sure it's his.
So is he stammering and the whole and that what they're cleaning up?
Yeah.
They're just tightening it up.
Yeah, that's a social media thing. We do it for our clips, but we do it a lot better.
That could have gone on So you mean to tell me that probably wasn't originally about 17 minutes, 18 minutes? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, they lopped off like a solid 5 off of that.
They ran out of film at one point.
Good heavens,
That
man.
wasn't written down. It sounded like he was reading from a piece of paper.
No. I mean, if the only thing he had that he clearly read off was he had a list of teammates that Pat Bev played with. I think making the point of you got carried through your
I love
career.
that. That was my favorite part.
But the rest of it, if he was
Of course he did.
Right.
Nobody
He's
thought
Pat
Bev
Bev,
was James Harden.
Yeah, what are we talking about?
Okay.
So if anything else was scripted, it was on a teleprompter that was off camera.
No, he listed you played with LeBron James, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Anthony Edwards, Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, Dwight Howard. He named like all these guys. Like these guys are Hall of Famers, and you still made only one conference finals. And I was like, damn. I mean, Trae Young even made it with like Danilo Gallinari.
Am I on Trae Young's side here?
You might have
Kinda
to be.
Damn.
Kind of have to.
Damn.
Trust me, I was there. I was
win.
ready to jump on them Pat Bev bandwagon, but he got cooked last night. Even in this terribly edited video.
Call it, guys. 9:29 Eastern Time, September 18th.
He said he was on scoring
New
tables
low.
celebrating playing games.
God.
I mean, there's a
Well,
lot in
EJ,
there.
you teach a video editing class and college class.
How's that going?
You could use this as what not to do tape.
Seriously. Yeah, when we do our social media video, actually, I'm glad you said that. When we do our social media video, I'm like, here's one way to not edit social media video.
You should wear your Knicks stuff when you do that.
I might look a little biased if I do that.
Biased.
On a basketball court last night, WNBA playoffs, the Lynx are the first team through to round 2, completing their 2-game sweep of the expansion Valkyries with a 75-74 win in Northern California. Minnesota rallying from a 17-point third quarter hole. Nafisa Collier scoring 24. The Liberty playing at home could not sweep the Mercury, not even close. Phoenix an 86-60 beatdown, forcing a decisive Game 3 in their building tomorrow night. New York even had Brianna Stewart out there despite her sprained knee, but only 6 points in 20 minutes. Week 3 is already here. The Bills hosting the vaunted Dolphins. The NFL has okayed using a running clock in the second half if things get out of control early in Buffalo. In Santa Clara yesterday, a surprise from Niners coach Kyle Shanahan saying Brock Purdy has a chance to play Sunday against the Cardinals. We were expecting him to miss at least 2 weeks with his version of turf toe.
Get back out there, Joe.
The QB flip-flopping continues in Colorado. Deion now expected to return to Caden Salter for Saturday's game with Wyoming. Rusty Staub's non-grandson Ryan threw 2 picks in Friday night's loss at Houston.
What about Shedeur?
He's not there anymore. Baseball needs a new hottest team.
Frazier shoots it into the left field corner and deep and gone! Adam Frazier to the opposite field. And the Royals regain the lead in the 8th inning.
The Royals kept that lead that Adam Frazier gave them with that 2-run homer, snapping Seattle's 10-game win streak 7-5. The Astros swept the Rangers 5-2, so Houston takes a half-game lead on those Mariners atop the AL West. Texas, by the way, now 4.5 games away from a wild card spot. And just ahead of the Ryder Cup, Bethpage Black is getting 2 more marquee events. The Long Island course will host the 2028 Women's PGA Championship and the men's version 5 years later. The PGA also yesterday giving the men's event to Oak Hill near Rochester in 2035.
Oh, my goodness.
Can't wait. 10
September,
years.
I'm looking at Ryder Cup, September 26th. Getting close.
Next weekend.
Yeah. Oh, so what time do we can have? Does that start in the morning when we're on?
I don't think
it does, right?
I don't think it will because of it being here. When it's in Europe, we get it early morning.
Okay.
My guess is it'll be later in the day for TV purposes.
Right, but then don't they want it on in Europe too? So maybe they start earlier?
No, so in Europe, they started at around lunchtime here. It'll be the end of their day there. So they'll watch it. They'll watch it closer to their prime time while they play during the daylight here.
Oh, yeah. Time difference.
Yeah.
I feel like it's maybe because we're in New York. It's getting a lot of hype this year. This particular rider,
Yes.
there's a lot of trash talking going
Because
on.
we're here. Because it's here.
Is that why? I feel like, but I feel like both teams are really into it this year. Not that they aren't always.
Yeah, I just think you feel it more because everyone around here can't wait for it.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Also, got to be a big bounce back spot here for the Americans, right?
When was the last time they won?
Oh, I don't know, but last year they did not have a good showing.
I feel like we never win this.
Last time. Okay. we have more on tonight's game. There actually is a very interesting angle to this. Not just is Mike McDaniel going to get fired and Josh Allen wearing a visor.
The Bills make me wanna.
More than that. But first, Jamie is in Dallas, Texas. What's up, Jamie? How are you? Jamie.
Oh, boy.
Is everything okay?
What is that sound?
Excuse me?
Jamie, you're up, dude.
Oh, my apologies. I went through a dead spot. Guys,
okay.
Listen, just wanted to, haven't been up as early in the morning, haven't been able to get with you guys. Wanted to revisit my crystal prognostication that Arch Manning was going to be a complete disaster, an overhyped machine, and the second coming of Chris Sims in Texas. Now, as you've seen a little bit more, you have to begin to doubt that these physical tools are ever as great as anyone made them out to be. That would be my first thing. And I would also look at that through the deeper lens of all of those five-star quarterbacks that year. Malachi Nelson on the other side of the ball at UTEP last week.
Yep.
And I would also leave you guys with one other thing. This situation with Nico Amilava, and I'm a Razorback fan. His little brother was at Arkansas, and soon after the situation played out where he leaves Tennessee, him and Dad come visit Madden at Arkansas. He runs to UCLA. The thing about this is and Bobby Petrino was calling his little brother the best-looking freshman that he's seen since Lamar Jackson. Okay, so he was in a position to succeed. Our quarterback Taylon Green is having a wonderful start to the year, and he has a very similar skill set. All three of them work with the same guru in California, so it should have been an easy transition. But this overhyping 18 and 19-year-olds, I think we're seeing it come to fruition, and I think this thing is going to work itself out faster than the situations when every shoe manufacturer thought everybody needed to have their own NBA. Everybody was a shoe. Needed their own custom shoe, and I just think this situation
Jamie,
it proves that
you're making your point, and thank you for calling in, because I do remember your call. It was very memorable, and you were screaming from the hilltops, guys, maybe Arch Manning just isn't the 5-star that he was promised to be. Why can't he beat out Quinn Ewers? Why, and this was before they even played a game. So I'll give Jamie credit for that. He called it long before Arch ever went to the Horseshoe and played against Ohio State, and then we saw what happened from there. First of all, put the Nico Amaliava stuff to the side. We'll do that next. But this is the thing about Arch. It's possible that he got a bump from his last name. Okay.
Yeah, likely.
No kidding. Okay, so now we're figuring that out. It doesn't mean the season is over yet, right? It doesn't mean that he is not also in a very quarterback-friendly offense, and we won't see him actually be good this year. Is he going to be Joe Burrow? Clearly not.
Well, Joe Burrow wasn't doing anything at this point, but go ahead.
I'm just saying, are we seeing a guy who was going to have this magical season of national championship, Heisman Trophy, #1 overall pick? That's what I think of with the Joe Burrow.
Right, but the fight that his junior year, right where Arch is, Joe Burrow was bad, which is amazing. So Joe Burrow was an incredible turnaround. So maybe he could be Joe Burrow in the sense that, maybe there's a huge chunk of the story left to tell.
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
The magical season, probably not getting that. The magical season, which I think a lot of people had their hopes up for.
But how do you know next year won't be Joe Burrow?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
The story's not done yet. And that's not just because we don't want to, acknowledge that he's not good.
This year won't be
this year. Yeah. I'm saying this year's, you're not getting the magical season. It's not going to be the Heisman winning national. It doesn't look like you're going to get that magic carpet right to the NFL #1 overall pick. But the story's not over. I mean, we still have to see him. Let's see what happens this weekend. If they do believe a lot of it is mental, along with some of the physical, but if it's a lot of it's mental, that can be fixed. I think.
Jamie, you mentioned that. I'm glad you brought up that recruiting class because it's having a massive comeback. This famous, terrible recruit class. Now Dante Moore is at Oregon and looks like a strong Heisman candidate. If they beat Penn State, I'd say he's going to jump to #1. He's #3 right now. Jackson Arnold looks great. So that's another guy. The 4 guys in that class he mentioned. It's Arch, and I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the other one.
Malachi Nelson.
And Malachi Nelson, that's not going to happen. And then Connor Wegman, the famous number 1 recruit from the year before, looks amazing. So you can come back. And nobody looked worse than Connor Wegman. And now he's coming back, and like the NFL is starting to look back at him. So you can have massive turnarounds in your careers, which is exactly what you're saying as well.
And even this season, like the Arch story is not done yet. We're asking you the question, if Arch struggles against Sam Houston, ... like fill in those dots, because like you do have to see it get better against not the SEC talent. Then the Nico, I'm sorry, EJ, you want to say
something? Yeah, no, I was going to say, because just on the point, because I want to listen back to it, so I make sure I heard you correctly. Like, on the point that just because Arch isn't like whoever we thought he's going to be this season isn't over in terms of like he can still be good and this could still be a good season. I would say the season is over if he's not that guy, only because kind of what we said about Perloff is it doesn't seem like the defense seems like it may be really good, but it doesn't seem like the offense is that good. Right. It doesn't seem like whatever the talent they're supposed to have, it doesn't feel like they're playing up to those recruiting stars. So if he's not this guy who can lift all boats, I think the season is over from the standpoint of whatever Texas' expectations were, which is at least contend for a title. They're not doing that. They have no shot. That's a 9-win, 8-win team in the SEC, and I don't know if they even get to the playoffs. If that's who Arch is.
So here's a question. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, yeah, but what if they get their running backs back? Notre Dame didn't have a passing game at all last year, and they made it to the title game. And Ohio State had Will Howard. I mean,
Notre Dame's playing, as you always say,
but they got through the playoffs.
ACC schedule, and they did, and that's fair.
Yeah, Will Howard wasn't great. Remember him against Michigan? Like, you don't need strong quarterback play to get through this thing.
But you do got to get through a regular season, though. Still, like you're right, they played well in the playoff, and I always talk about that because they beat up on some SEC teams. But it's still the issue of you have to get through this SEC schedule before you even get to the playoff.
They also had 2 running backs who were taken in the second round. No, I mean Ohio State did last year.
Yeah, but I mean. Yeah, yes, but Texas Texas has strong running backs.
They do.
Whichever one. They lost Jayden Blue. But yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. If they get back, maybe the team transforms a little bit and helps Arch even more.
But why is this coming off an ACL too? We don't even know what he was supposed to be great last year.
And I think the backup's hurt too.
Yeah, so I think everybody I feel like for Texas, we've just been assuming they're going to be great based on, again, their recruiting stars, which is understandable. If you follow the sport, you follow high school football. It's not. I don't even blame people for that. It's just sometimes we actually end up seeing the players and just not who they are. So just eyeballing this, maybe they get a lot better. But if Arch is going to be just decent, let's say he's not even terrible, he's decent. That's again Texas. That's a 9-win team, and we'll see if they can get to the college football playoff.
So here's another question for you. This is a way too early question to be asking. I acknowledge that. Let's say this is Arch never gets right, okay? And it looks pretty bad or just mid or whatever all season long. Is he back next year as Texas's quarterback?
Yeah, why not?
Maybe Sark feels like he could upgrade.
No, it's not going to be that bad. Then how are you going to upgrade?
Or maybe the Mannings fire.
Yeah, that I could buy.
That's what I thought.
We were mentioning Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow switched coaches and turned into Joe Burrow. Maybe I think that's a more likely
Okay, so
scenario.
you can ask it either way. Is there a breakup coming? I mean,
that's
every
possible.
College quarterback transfers. We did this yesterday with our great debate, the greatest college transfer of all time, and we had about 1,000 people to choose from.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I mean, Sark is, if you ever listen to him, he's so complimentary and trying to be supportive. Feels like he's playing the Manning family game. You know what I'm saying? Like, it feels like he's kissing their butt a little bit.
How could you not? Look at how powerful they are.
I mean, Texas has got to play OU. I mean, you saw OU look like it's Michigan. What they did to Underwood. I mean, does it look like the way Arch is playing, he's going to be able to do anything against Oklahoma? You got Georgia on the road. You got Texas A&M at the end of the season. I mean, there are losses on this schedule if Texas keeps playing like this.
Yeah, I mean, they have to. But they play their defense looked great against Ohio State.
The defense is great. I think the defense is great. Yeah. I mean, they got dudes on that side. It's just I don't know if they're going to score enough.
Can I say one thing? They had 16 players drafted off last year's thing. That's an entire roster, and they had 11 players drafted the year before. So they've been kind of relying on the transfer portal. Maybe it all comes together. I think your scenario painting that maybe we have there's going to be some big questions if it doesn't for both Arch and Steve Sarkisian.
888-710-4ISN. We'll take a quick break. I want to unpack something that our caller Jamie had said about Nico Iamaleava and about the hype around some of these young quarterbacks. Plus, we'll hear from Jayden Waddle about tonight. Dolphins headed up to play my Buffalo Bills. Do that next.
Nico Iamaleava.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Manny discovers Lenny Kravitz.
Featuring Quavo, by the way. This is a remake.
Let's hear from Jaylen Waddle, shall we? Of the Dolphins tonight. Miami traveling to Buffalo Thursday night football. It's a big spread, but the Dolphins have to be in this desperation mode, right? 0-3. You got banners and planes flying over your stadium saying to fire the GM, fire the coach. Like, this kind of feels like as bad as it can get.
Yeah.
So let's hear cut 4, please. Jaylen Waddle. How are the Dolphins feeling heading into this game?
Nah, no pressure. No pressure at all. We're just trying to play the best ball that we can. Go out there and, compete at a high level, do our jobs, and get a win.
This is where professional athletes are just different from the rest of us, right? It's like basically the walls are caving in. Your coach is on the hottest seat possible. You're 0-2. You no-showed week 1, which is pretty egregious. How you feeling? No, fine. No pressure.
Yeah, I mean, what's he supposed to say?
Oh, I mean, he could say, listen, our backs are against the wall. We're going to really feel like we have, need to come out with a lot of fire, which is kind of what he said. But no pressure.
Yeah, I mean, the players obviously,
they're different.
They think we're all ridiculous. Like, after a game, people are crying at home. They're like, what's at the buffet line? I'm seeing that a million times. It's a job to these guys, too. Remember that.
Yeah, but they're not doing their jobs well. And at some point, you want to at least have a little urgency, no?
I don't know. If you're Jaylen Waddle, who's a really good player, looking
Great
around
player.
at that team, what are you going to be like? Yeah, I'm sure he's like, this ain't on me. I mean,
Wow, that's the foxhole.
I mean, he's a wide receiver. He's a diva, of course. He's like, wide receiver is like, what's he supposed to do? Run his routes and catch the football? Is he going to make the linebacker tackle somebody?
No, but it's like last year, Bradley Chubb said, yeah, we told you the vibes were different last year. That was a lie. This year, they're actually different. Like, okay, I was lying then. I'm telling the truth now. And they came out week 1, and the Colts embarrassed them. They embarrassed themselves.
No, they're not responding to the coach anymore.
No, absolutely not. So, you'd think that there'd be a little pride, professional pride, and you guys are ruling it out. I mean, Bogusch making jokes they're going to do a running clock at halftime. Like, this is it. We're going to see it. And something tells me I'm making fun of Jaylen Waddle. I keep wanting to call him Jaylen Waddle. Jayden Waddle. Jaylen Waddle is kind of being nonchalant about it. But I'm not expecting that when they actually take the field, because if you can't get the juice going for this game, I don't know why you even put on the helmet.
Well, it's a rare opportunity. I think almost any NFL game is a must-watch game. This is definitely not. You could go to college football, so I'll tell you what's on tap for you.
What do you got?
Rice against Charlotte. Throw out the record books for those two teams.
Heck yeah.
Now, Rice is 2-1. It's not a bad start for my Owls. Then Charlotte's 1-2. They're struggling a little bit this year. So that's going to be a distraction. Honestly, do I really want to get caught in Amazon world and not be able to flip around during this Dolphins-Bills game? This is going to be tough. You could tell me about it tomorrow morning.
After all these years, Pearl, you don't have a second TV.
No, I have my computer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, basically, you do.
But I'm not going to watch Rice. Yeah, but I don't like it. But the thing is, I put the Amazon game on the big TV, and then the commercials are there. It's the only, it's the only.
Hard to escape them.
It's a good job by Amazon. And the telecast is great. But, yeah, this is going to be really, really bad. I think it's going to be bad.
We watching on Prime Vision today or normal broadcast?
Oh, I don't watch the fancy one.
You don't watch the advanced stats one? You don't like the All-22 one?
No, I've checked it out.
They've got a Nerdcast?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You never indulged?
Actually, you say that, I think I've watched it before. Remember when LeBron was doing an alternate barbershop?
Yeah, that was
watch along?
I didn't watch much of that.
I didn't either.
I didn't care for that. But this has nerd stats involved in it, and it shows me when the blitz is coming and whatnot. And most of the time, they do blitz. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Makes me feel like a quarterback.
Do you watch that for baseball when they have the nerd broadcast on Sunday Night Baseball?
They have a nerd broadcast on Sunday night?
Yeah, I did. I did once. It was good.
They do a great job.
I liked it.
It's like Eduardo Perez. He's awesome.
Yeah. They do a really good job Sunday Night Baseball. I watched it for a Mets-Giants game, and they were on the money with, Soto. He was about to hit a home run. He did. I was like, whoa.
Speaking of, how was the Mets game last night?
Terrible. The Mets lost, but it drove me to a question. if you go to, everybody knows the guy or gal that goes to a game and wears an unaffiliated team jersey sucks.
Right.
Nobody likes that.
Yeah.
But
I give them a pass when they're in London and stuff like that.
okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I saw a gentleman wearing a Diamondbacks jersey, and I was ready to say, "Oh, look at this loser." But
No, that last night was a big game for him.
yeah, the Diamondbacks are chasing the Mets. So can you go to a game where you're in a pennant race or a division race and just be a hater? I kind of just gave him a pass.
How are the Diamondbacks now the one chasing bets? There have been like 7 other teams trying to get this lame-ass wild card spot.
Maybe he was like there to put a hex on the Mets or something.
What happened to the Reds or the Giants?
They're there too. There's a whole stew of weird teams trying to chase the Mets now. But this guy showed up and he was ready to hate.
Giants and the D-backs are playing a series right now.
Thank you, EJ, Manny, Bogusch, Andrew Kaplan.